First time in a long time, but back like I never left. Taking each day as it comes, you know me, I don't read ahead. Watch me burn down everything, BBE on the TV set. When I'm in control on the road, you can never really know what's up next.
Hello.
Hello, hello, hello.
Braden Herrington here with Davie Portman for Up Next. You found us at postwrestling.com, Apple Podcast, Spotify, whatever podcast app you choose to use. And it's 10:05 p.m., which means
we are live on youtube.com/postwrestling. Hello, YouTube room. How are we doing?
Hello, everybody. Yes, it is the WrestleMania hangover. Some of us are still alive. I'm sure some people are still lingering about the streets of Sin City. Maybe some are on an airplane back. Maybe you're listening to this already back. Maybe you watched it at home. Maybe you watched none of it and you just listened to people talk about wrestling. That's cool too. But no matter what, we made it. We made it through a WrestleMania weekend in 2025. So well done. I hope we all are okay. The hangover subsided a little bit, right?
Getting there. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
But we are here on a Tuesday because, of course, we are. What are we, Braden?
We are Up Next. We are your NXT friends. And this past weekend, we were your NXT friends. You see, there was a lot of wrestling. Maybe it was a full day of wrestling for you. We spent the afternoon watching NXT. We did our review on Sunday, but we watched on Saturday, then rushed over to Gabby's, our bar event. We had a watch party, Raw and Mania, where we hung out and had wrestling on for night one, then recorded, then went back to the bar for night two. It was a marathon, but we did it.
Okay, question. What was more exhausting? Last year, actually being in Philly, jetting around the streets of Philly, getting the odd Gino's cheesesteak in us in between shows, going to Stand and Deliver, going to WrestleMania Night 1, recovering, recording Sunday morning, going off to see WrestleMania Night 2? Or was it more exhausting watching Stand and Deliver, jetting to a bar, setting up a bar, greeting people at the bar, partying with people at the bar, and then doing it all the next day, and then going to work, and then recording, and then watching Raw and all that? What took it out of you more, this year or last year?
Like, I think last year, just because we had to like hustle and bustle, but this year we also we had to set up, we had to be on, we had to talk to people, interact, social, the battery there. You only have so much that you have to reserve until you just break down. And
I'm saying this year, I am dead. I am dead. I did have to work a shift yesterday, which was tough, was hurting, but don't get me wrong, I've loved this whole week. It's been great, but I am beat. And, I'm looking forward to next year just relaxing on the streets of Bourbon Street and
relaxing. Yeah.
Just relaxing, taking in the sights, taking in the shows. But no, WrestleMania week is finally coming to an end. We are your full stop at the end of this weekend because we move on to AEW tomorrow. WrestleMania is over. It's done. We're moving on to the next stuff. But yes, we are the official end of WrestleMania week, the biggest WrestleMania week ever, because I can't recall them doing a Tuesday NXT in the same city. So the amount of shows they put on these past 5 days is absolutely insane.
No, yeah, it does feel like even this one being in Vegas, last stop where they finally pack up and leave Vegas as WWE. So I'm pretty sure even probably the store was still open, maybe tomorrow even to get that last merch bump in. But it looked like the most merch sold ever, the most highest gates, all that stuff, the most way to take money from everybody. So they did it. They did it, guys. We did it. And you helped. We helped. So yeah, shout out WWE taking our money. But we did our stand and deliver review. We sat and we delivered that review for you. And we also chatted about night one of WrestleMania. So we will give our thoughts before we jump into NXT night 2 and any kind of final thoughts here to our Viva Las Vegas weekend. But the hangover was real for us. We did do 2 nights of the bar. Got to shout out anyone listening. Thanks for supporting and coming out to our event. Stay tuned. We have some things in the works for some things in the future. And you mentioned NOLA. I mean, that would be a fun thing, but that's in a year. We'll talk. But follow the space as usual. We do lots of wrestling events in the city of Toronto, and we're pretty proud of the little community and stuff. Sometimes it's more fun watching with a group of people, and we have like our regulars now and new people, and it's just a ton of fun. And anyone who's come, thank you and appreciate the love, because we put the work in, but then we had a really fun time as well this past weekend.
Yeah, I want to echo that. Like, both nights just it was a lot of work, but both went really seamlessly. Everyone was having a great time. People were even braving the cold outside. We had 2 projectors going on the patio and inside, very reminiscent of night 1 in Philly last year for some of those people. But super appreciate it. Everyone was super nice, super kind, super friendly, and everything. I couldn't have asked for a better 2 nights at Gabby's. So thank you everyone who came along and supported.
Absolutely. Yes. So we'll be doing some again in the near future. We won't be going live this Sunday for Poison Rana. We're going to take the week off. Davey's going away on a little vacay, and post Mania, we need to de-stress and not watch wrestling.
I need to not watch wrestling for at least 3 days.
You're going to Mexico. Davey, when you get to the hotel, do me a favor, turn the TV on and tell me if you flip 3 channels one way and 3 channels the other, and see if you land on some Lucha Libre that may or may not be owned by WWE. Because that when I went for the first time to Mexico as a kid, legit turned the hotel TV on and there was Lucha Libre. So no, you can't escape it, Davey. You can't escape the wrestling, and it'll be here.
I don't think I'm going to turn a TV on, to be honest.
Fair enough.
I think I've had enough screen time to last me for a little bit. I plan on, lying down in the sun with a book in my hand and a pina colada in the other. That's my plan for the next.
Maybe you should catch up on the White Lotus finale before you eat a pina colada. Yeah. Be careful. We won't be going live this Sunday, but again, follow the show. You'll be back next Tuesday, so we'll be doing a show next Tuesday night after NXT. So find us here on the same bat time, same bat channel here on the Post Wrestling Network. And just some other housekeeping. I will be joining John Pollock and Jordan Goodman for Rewind a Dynamite here on the Post Wrestling website, YouTube, and all that stuff. I don't know why John invited me and Jordan, because that's a recipe for absolute disaster. So tune in to see what kind of car crash we get into.
John has these nights once in a while where he just wants to go a little rogue. I recall when we went to Monday Night Raw, we're like, John, are you sure you want to go to Raw with Braden and myself?
Yeah.
Are you sure you want to have some raspberry martinis before going to see Raw with Braden and Davey? He gets like this once in a while. So I'm sure that's going to be a fun review with the 3 of you.
I told myself I wouldn't have any cocktails for quite a while, at least for another few weeks, but maybe they'll come up in conversation, because the 3 of us are all also fans of the cocktails and beverages. But yes, join me on that show tomorrow night. Rewind a Dynamite. And hey, if you like everything that we've done, if you've listened to our WrestleMania preview show, we just did our Send and Deliver show and so much more, we have a patreon.com/Poisonrana. It's $5. You'll get access to all the shows that we've done in this catalog. We had a crazy WrestleMania month. We kicked things off with a WrestleMania 18 review, but then we went back to Vegas the first time, Davey, and reviewed WrestleMania 9. And we've been all over the place with this WrestleMania chat. So everywhere wrestling, including Hulk Hogan, Bret Hart, Yokozuna, Caesar's Palace, the whole thing. Giant Gonzalez, shout out the New Day and their Giant Gonzalez throwback. I know they were showing the love with their gear. So those are some shows that we did. And then also Triple H, Papa Paul, he went in to the Hall of Fame, and we did a best match ever podcast where we looked at a playlist of the best of the game featuring 7 or 8 best of matches. We rate, review, go through them, give our thoughts, and discuss which we think is the best. And of course, we talk about Cactus Jack. Of course, we talk about the theme songs, water bottles, sledgehammers, all the fun Triple H things. And the podcast don't don't stop. But this week we are taking a little break because we're exhausted from talking and watching wrestling. So please, I'm gonna not watch wrestling. I say that I gotta watch Dynamite, but I'm gonna not watch wrestling after that. Let me tell you.
Yes, we also had our Champ is Here number 8, where we were joined by Jason Solomon from Solomonster Sounds Off and House of Glory Wrestling to talk about the 8th John Cena title reign, Elimination Chamber 2010. I've got to say, this past month was probably the biggest month we've done on the Patreon. Some like super in-depth shows with all of them, both WrestleMania reviews, Best Match Ever, Triple H, and the Champ is Here. Very in-depth reviews. So if you haven't had a chance to listen because you've been caught up in all the WrestleMania mayhem, now is the time to do it because, as you said, we are taking a break, and we have actually released that Champ is Here number 8 episode for free on the Poisonrana feed. So go ahead and go and check that out. And if you like what you listen to, $5 makes you a member, and you can listen to all the other Champ is Here shows, Best Match Evers, etc. We are taking this week off, but don't worry, we will make it up to you, our patrons. Our patrons. We will double up sometime in May. So you're not going to be losing out on the amount of podcasts. And I'm sure there's stuff in the back catalog that you haven't got around to listening to yet. So thank you for allowing us to have this little vacay for the next week.
Absolutely. Yes. There's so many shows in there, and I appreciate everyone who's checked us out. And again, if you haven't, $5 gives you hundreds of different podcasts out there. And I guess, do we change the name of the show, Davey, to The Last Champ is Here? Because that's what I need to put in the intro now after this promo from John Cena on Monday Night Raw. But we do have episode 9 in the works. I think we have announced that we have some special friends, some guests for that show as well. But it is official. We will be doing a 17th episode.
Yes.
As we've been predicting month by month by going through every John Cena title win and reign and everything. So in a few months, we'll get to this one that we just witnessed. And I guess, do we start there, Davey, here with our WrestleMania Night 2 chat? Do we talk about one of the worst finishes in the history of WrestleMania?
I feel I think if we start with the main, we're going to be hopping all over the place. We'll talk a bit about the main event with which kind of includes stuff happening on Raw, kind of includes The Rock on Pat McAfee, and then maybe after that we'll backtrack and talk about some other stuff we liked and disliked from WrestleMania Sunday. But yes, the main event, John Cena, Cody Rhodes, and John Cena is the 17-time WWE champion and apparently going to be retiring this belt. Very mixed feelings about this one. I mean, I got to say to start with, look, I wasn't expecting a mat classic between Cody Rhodes and John Cena in this stage of his career. But I was kind of getting into it. I thought the crowd elevated this. It felt important as the match started. I loved Cena's stripped back entrance, just the black and white lights. I thought looked very cool.
Even for his last Mania, I feel bad that that's his last Mania.
We'll get there, yeah. So I thought that was all very cool. I didn't for as basic as it was, I didn't actually hate the match. It was kind of what I expected it to be. And then the Travis Scott stuff onwards, the fat Cody's having to sell for this whole 3-minute Fiend song that I never want to hear again in my life.
Ever again. I'm never putting that song on.
And he's supposed to be scared of this 100-pound man, this man that looks like I could take out if I needed to, sauntering down to the ring. He's the one that costs Cody Rhodes this title. Cody Rhodes, the guy who took on the entire bloodline last year, is getting beaten by Travis Scott and old man John Cena. And then just kind of as we thought, as I've been saying, I didn't think The Rock was going to be showing up. They've kind of very much de-emphasized him. And it's cool seeing Cena as a heel. It's something we've been wanting to see. We've been curious how it looks. It's even cool seeing a Cena as a heel champ. But in execution, I just felt completely deflated. It's just weird. This should be such a huge moment, number 17. And kind of, as you mentioned, I like the entrance, but yes, Cena's last WrestleMania, like coming out like this, it ending like this.
Yeah.
I just
a wet fart. That's what it was.
Like
a wet fart of a finish. Everyone left night one kind of like, oh, Seth, something pretty crazy and interesting, and like, ooh, where's this gonna go? And then night two just felt like everyone leaving felt deflated of just like, oh, that's not how you would envision someone ever breaking Ric Flair's record or John Cena winning one last WWE or appearing in one last WrestleMania. I get that they're going for this character who said he's going to ruin wrestling. He kind of did for me that main event. You said you like the match, right? Like you said the beginning of the match.
Look, I'm not saying this is Ospreay Omega, you know, but like it was on the way of being a Rock Hogan kind of thing. Like the crowd were rabid and everything. Like I was into it. There was some cool near falls and stuff, and but imagine well with limitations, you know.
Rock and Hogan, it did feel like that for a second because everyone's all of a sudden booing Cody and cheering for John Cena, just like Rock and Hogan, and then imagine Josie Scott of Saliva comes out and helps Hogan win. Like what? Like what? So, that's basically what happened.
I know Travis Scott is a huge star, but you got to remember as well, there's also wrestling fans like me who grew up on like wrestling and rock and roll and that kind of thing. And I've seen this guy on TV like 3 or 4 times now. He could walk into my apartment right now and I still wouldn't know who he fucking is. I know there are millions of people who know this guy. Yeah. There's also millions of wrestling fans out there who couldn't give a shit about Travis Scott. Having him in a like Logan Paul-esque position in the mid-show, fucking around with the Miz or whoever you want, sure. Your main event of WrestleMania, John Cena, historic win, ending what has been a pretty great run and a pretty great story for Cody Rhodes. And also, like, this guy is a fucking weed. There's nothing on him. Like, how can I buy this as anything? And then you've got the other thing. Everyone's like, oh, is Rock coming out? Is Rock coming out? No, Rock fucked off after Toronto. Rock's been gone for 6 weeks, 2 months even. And it's just been a complete mess. The angle at Elimination Chamber didn't match up to anything of the story coming out of Elimination Chamber. And it just left everyone confused and deflated by the end of it. It was very odd, very baffling.
I'm in another camp here because to me, Travis Scott, I've followed him for I've seen him live a few times. I've watched him for years. Shout out Birds in the Trap, sing Brian McKnight. Fantastic hip hop album. He's become super famous, but it doesn't mean that he should be like involved in this. And then even if he was, that made everyone go, okay, well, if he's coming out, we know what they did last year with like the fucking 6-7 different run-ins. Here's the cue for something to happen with The Rock. No, just Cena wins. And it's just so bizarre. Again, this is someone who's like, yeah, I fuck with Travis Scott. Hell yeah. But I just don't explain. That doesn't explain anything of what's happened. And I hated the way the build was. And this is what we got. It was like, oh man, like, I really thought the first few minutes was like, oh, wow, crowd turning on Cody. I think people saw that coming. Cena gonna maybe walk out somehow as champ, some sort of, no matter what, him winning is gonna get a big reaction because it's 17. He's beating Flair. This is a big deal. They've pushed this for years of no one's ever had that many, especially in WWE here. And it's weird that this Travis Scott is we fiend too hard. Like what?
For me, it just summed up this celebrity wanking capitalistic company that it is right now. Like we've got the mat. Just last year we just had Prime. We've got the mat smothered with fucking dude whites and wild wings and whatever the fuck. You've got Travis Scott in the main event, and you've got The Rock admitting, oh, the only reason why I was in Toronto, I wasn't going to be part of the story, but ticket sales were bad. You know why ticket sales were bad? Because you were charging $400 for the fucking nosebleeds. You know, that's why we were waiting till minutes before the show starts, before we even look at getting a ticket. You know, if they offered tickets at a reasonable price, they'd have sold out the Rogers Center. They wouldn't have had to tarp off half of the Rogers Center to get people in. They wouldn't have needed The Rock to come out to start this story that was never going to go anywhere. Like, think
So
back,
bizarre.
it was to Bad Blood, that like Hell in a Cell match that was awesome, that should have closed the show. No, we've got to wait because The Rock's in town and it's going to do some nonsense, throwing up his 3 fingers that is going to mean absolutely jack shit. Like, I've been a Rock fan for years and I've been a Rock defender, but he fucked up this year, I think. And,
is that the case?
and it just it's given me a real sour taste in my mouth. I'm just watching this WrestleMania that is just celebrity overload, more so than usual. And like, Mike Tyson can get away with it in the main event of WrestleMania. He's Mike fucking Tyson. Like, Travis Scott, fuck off. Like, it's like, it was really disappointing, the end. And it's one of the things, the more I've sat with it and the more I've thought about it, the more angry this main event has made me.
Mm-hmm. It's like, what was this designed to do? They must have known, like, was the idea to make it bad that people would be upset? And that's like the new way of getting heel heat, brother, is we'll piss everybody off by doing this. But like, again, the match was going for a decent amount of time, and then the guy's music hits and he takes like 3 minutes to just walk down this long ramp.
So Cody's just got to look like this loser who's like selling like for ages.
Like, if he would, like, even if he was out there with him the whole time, if they explained to us weeks before, like, hey, they had a friendship, or like, I don't know, like, it just doesn't make sense. And part of me keeps thinking, like, okay, what is their reasoning? And I don't know if there's anyone out there who like legitimately enjoyed the way things, even someone like me who like, I listen to Travis Scott, he fucks hard, it's sick, but like, what is the connection here of like John Cena retiring, turning heel, The Rock disappears, they don't ever reference it, and we can kind of jump around again, fast tracking here, but like looking at or hearing what The Rock had to say just shows up pretty much unannounced, really, on today during Tuesday on the Pat McAfee show. And I don't know about you, but this seemed like he was trying to do some damage control.
Oh,
he was trying to do he was trying to cover his own ass. And I don't know if this was like throwing Triple H under the bus in a sort of weird way, or was this like he's talking out of, character. He's saying, yeah, the plans are to turn Cody another babyface run and then this epic heel run, and then we're gonna do this, and it's like, yo, like, stop.
Now,
Shut up.
I rarely agree with Jonathan Coachman, but I saw something he was saying about The Rock saying, I wanted to give Cena his moment and give him the shine, give him his moment. But in him not being there made it about The Rock, because everyone's coming out of WrestleMania going,
where the fuck was The Rock?
Where was The Rock? Whereas The Rock showing up, continuing that story, and then giving the ring to Cena, you achieve both. You give him his moment. And I mean, I've been saying this for weeks. Even if The Rock isn't going to be at Mania, I think you could have made that very clear on TV whilst him still being part of the story. Cody should have questioned, what has The Rock offered you that you don't already have? You're John Cena. You're already making Hollywood movies. You've already won the title as many times as Ric Flair. You're on your course to being the greatest of all time. What is The Rock offering you? And you could still have The Rock as this like presence that we don't see. And even sending in something by satellite saying, I'm not going to be there, but I'm sad in Hawaii. I'm the final boss. I'm still pulling the strings. Like, having something that can let the fans know plenty in advance, he will not be here. Not the fans that read Sean Ross Sapp and go, oh yeah, Rock's not going to be there. But let us know on TV that he's not there. But you can still have it part of the story. You can still have Cena's sold his soul to The Rock. We're just not getting to that part of the story till a little bit on. Instead, The Rock still going like, oh, I'm 20 steps ahead. Like, final boss, the soul thing, that'll still come. No. You don't set up a build for WrestleMania to pay it off like at Survivor Series or whatever. No, this is the story you started. And this is the story you should be telling. Not that now Cena is suddenly mad at the fans because they booed him 15 years ago. Like, if that was the case, like, you don't have The Rock at Elimination Chamber. The Cena does the thing on his own there. It's funny though.
we're in Toronto. We were at that show. The moment was epic. It did feel like this is gonna go into what this goes down as one of the biggest angles ever. And then they dropped the ball like a little bit. I did not really think the build was as good as it could have been. Something was different. And this whole interview, I listened to the whole thing today, just kind of like annoyed me. It kind of like, I don't want to say like pissed me off or anything, because it's like, yeah, it's just wrestling. But like, it annoyed me because it sounded like he was covering his tracks. He's like, I didn't want to go back because it's like, then where would we go? Yeah, dude, where did you go? We needed you. You don't start something, that you can't finish. And then he's like, yeah, we had to adjust. Or he says like, if I had done things different, I would have adjusted. He's basically said he didn't think what they did was good. And it's because they teased him coming out. And now he's on this show to kind of cover his ass, being like, hey, I was never announced or anything like that. So it's so weird because they're filming this Netflix thing, right? That's going to come out in a little while with WWE, where they're really breaking kayfabe.
Unreal,
I can't believe Undertaker signed off on this, considering he never wants to break character, right? I'm wondering if there was reason for him to get that, like, oh, I have to say something on this because people are like trashing me or saying this and this and this. I want to set some sort of record straight. But we know The Rock beat Hulk Hogan, so therefore the torch was passed over, and including in that torch is knowing how to lie a lot. And I feel like there was some of that on this interview, and it just this whole Mania was a messy main event. This interview was weird.
Pat didn't push him enough, and why would he?
Course,
he's WWE, but like you wonder if it was someone like Ariel Helwani, maybe, I don't know, like someone else who'd have maybe pushed a little further and been like, okay, then why set up that angle? Like, there's a lot of free Cody and Cody is innocent comments in the chat, Cody. And like you got like, I was mad that people were booing Cody. Like, I get it. It was seen as last Mania and all that, but it was like, come on, it's Cody. I think it was wise not having Cody on Raw. I wonder if he will be on SmackDown, but I think maybe once you're back in front of kind of normal crowds, not WrestleMania crowds, then would be the time to bring back Cody and kind of develop that. But yeah, it was just a mess, that Mania.
Yeah. It was really bizarre, and I just feel like it didn't live up to the hype of what it could have been. Like, Cody and Cena didn't need all this other stuff. If you wanted Cena to just cheat to win, it could have been even more creative than what we got. Instead, it's like, hey, let's just bring out Travis Scott. And like, again, we're the wrestling people. Anyone who's a wrestling fan, someone in your life knows that you like wrestling, and they'll ask you questions when they see wrestling. Okay, so has anyone so why is Travis Scott keep showing up with John Cena? Yeah, I don't know, because they don't tell us, because it doesn't make any sense. So very, very strange. It was a bit of a letdown, because I think I was on my way to enjoying night 2 more than night 1. I think I overall still enjoyed both nights. It's WrestleMania, it's the summer blockbuster of like if you really want your in-depth wrestling matches and your Puro and all that stuff, there's tons of other stuff, even this weekend, that there was to watch. But when it comes to like the be all end all, the Mecca, the Super Bowl of wrestling, like they knock it out the park. Like, it looks awesome. It's a spectacle. And like we said, we had a bar packed both nights, and it was a ton of fun to watch. But after each match, I was like, oh, that was all right. What, it'd be great if you took the best of this one and then the best of night 2. And here's a crazy idea. You put them together and you trim the fat a little bit.
I actually think this is the first ones for maybe since that Dallas show where because I do think the 2 nights have been pretty good the last few years, and been both nights entertaining. One may be better than the other, but I definitely think there was maybe a 11 match show you could have done here, like 10 matches, like 5 from each night put onto one night, trim all the commercials and all that, and would have been a better show. That's my trail of thought. But
I'm sure we're gonna get a great run.
I was gonna say, you kind of brought it up, like the Cena heel turn. Like, in hindsight, as cool as that moment at Elimination Chamber was, and it was great for us being there, you should have done the turn at WrestleMania. You should have had, Cena, huge entrance, huge colorful babyface entrance, marching band, all the lot, his last WrestleMania, and then
absolutely
low blow title shot, and everyone's like, what? And I think it would have saved, get Travis Scott out of the mix, but I think it would have made a average match very special, and a very special way to end WrestleMania. And then you could have had a bit of fun. You can have exactly the promo Cena told last night with counting down the dates, which I thought was very good. I love that little like clock he had of, oh, well, I've done Vegas once, Vegas
27
twice,
dates, not matches, appearances.
Yes.
Appearances. Very, very strange. I think you're right. I we were at Chamber and it was a great moment. It was a weird moment in time where it's like, oh my God, this happened, and it was great. But it probably would have made more sense if Cena and Cody both went in as baby faces, considering how like kind of lame the build was anyways. You could have just had babyface versus babyface, and then we get into like him turning in the match, which then, oh my God, shocks the world. And then you get like, I feel like there was more press coming out of that than this thing, because again, everyone's just like, hey, look, John Cena came out wearing Travis Scott shoes. It's like, oh, is that his connection? That's because he buys his shoes from him. Okay, cool. Yeah, I know WWE is super popular this year, and it feels like there was more eyes on WrestleMania than possibly ever. I think that's what they're kind of saying. So like, it's crazy of how popular it really is this time around. We could feel it in our own city here in Toronto. You could feel it in your friend groups, that friends, family who never really want to ever watch it or talk about it. All of a sudden, it's kind of there, and it feels like it was the most popular ever. And I'm sure the next year it's going to continue. But I was a little let down with WrestleMania.
Yeah, I think I enjoyed both nights in the moment, and it's kind of the more I've thought about it, the more I'm like, okay, what did I enjoy on this show? And maybe let's talk a little bit about that, because I thought the opening match of WrestleMania was awesome. That triple threat, Io, Bianca, Rhea, I absolutely loved, and it's one of my favorite matches of the year so far. I thought it was great. And
absolutely,
especially our girl Io Sky retaining the title at WrestleMania. I thought it was a hell of a way to kick off night 2. And right away, I was like, oh, this is a better show than night 1.
Yeah, that put me in a really great mood. Again, I do think I'll copy that, because I think that's my favorite match from this entire weekend is Io Sky, Rhea Ripley, Bianca Belair. Maybe in a second place is Yoshihiko versus Suzuki. But Io Sky gets me high. And if you've been listening, that's an old slogan of us, because we followed her from NXT. We've watched and we've done shows covering her Stardom stuff, all the outside stuff, Lucha Underground as well. Like, we are really big fans of Io, and I thought all three brought it. And it's funny because some people showed up at our event after that match, and then when the bar kind of cleared out after the show ended, they were like, hey, do you think you could start the show? We just missed that first match. And me and you were like, it is a good match. All right. So you set it up so that they could rewatch it. And they were like, whoa.
I was like, this is the last thing I'm taking away from the bar, but it is my TV. I need it back.
So we kind of like, we're setting down and taking down everything while this table we're watching on one last screen. And we were getting back into it and realized like, yeah, this match was awesome. So we were there last year for Io getting her like title win at WrestleMania, which was a great match as well with Bayley and the title win. But
Bayley won the title last year.
Oh, sorry, the other way around, right? Bayley is the one who beat Io, right? So this time around, Io winning at WrestleMania. Like, yeah, again, someone who followed her and support. I have my mask over here of Io. So just this was maybe my favorite match of the weekend. Definitely up there for a match of the year contender, and dare I say, one of the best women's matches in WWE history. I'll say it there. Tell me some better ones, because that one absolutely slapped. I thought all three women put on a WrestleMania classic, and they opened the show, and they could have damn well main evented one of the nights with that, because it was a whole lot of fun. It was like just less than like 15 minutes long, but it was so good. So yeah, I really loved that.
One, like, the build wasn't the greatest, but all three women are so great. I think it's we can now save Bianca and Rhea one-on-one, or Io Rhea, Io Bianca, any way you want to do it. But it was so well worked and so many great moments. And I thought the finish was excellent with the moonsault breaking up the pinfall, just everything timed to perfection. We recently reviewed the WrestleMania 20 triple threat, which is awesome. And I know the story for this one was very similar, but I would put this up there as a triple threat. I highly enjoyed this one.
Yeah, no, it was awesome. That was definitely a highlight of night 2. Then we had the Sin City Street Fight, Drew McIntyre. I thought it was Adam Cole who maybe had some of the super shredder serum, because he came out wearing some video game shit. He looked real thrilled to be wearing that.
Drew's character is just an angry, grumpy Scotsman, but I felt like it was the actual person coming through as he's trying to take off these goofy gauntlets. And I don't know who his mate on the stage was that he posed with, but this was more like Triple H coming out as Thor than some of the caller entrances we've had. And he definitely, you could see in his eyes when he's standing on the turnbuckle posing, he's like, man, I look like a dork.
Yeah, it was bizarre. The match itself was fine. It didn't necessarily get anywhere that I was
a little let down by this one. I think both are capable of being very good. And I think both have had, Drew especially has had a really good year. And I kind of felt they might come out with a bit of a chip on their shoulder and something to prove that, we should be. Priest walked out as champion last year. Drew's had one of the best years of his career in the whole Punk feud. And they're second on the show in a bit of a nothing match. I thought they might come out and absolutely kill it. And I didn't really think they did. And I didn't think, as far as WWE plunder matches go, it was particularly interesting or anything particularly creative involved with it.
Yeah, I didn't love that. The outfit was funny. I did like the Fatal 4-Way for the Intercontinental Championship. Braun Breaker defending against Finn Balor, Penta, and Dom. Dirty Dom. Rey Mysterio wins a title at WrestleMania. Did I say a Rey Mysterio? A Mysterio.
Man, Dominic, biggest babyface of the weekend. And it was weird because you could see it in that Vegas crowd who was suddenly getting really behind Dominic. But Gabby's, it was exactly the same, where as the match went on, everyone was like, I want Dominic to win. And there were Dominic chants and people cheering whenever Dominic got any offense in. I really enjoyed this match, and I was actually very happy to see Dominic win. We kind of called it. We saw, free up Braun into bigger things, which we'll get into. But yeah, I thought this was a really fun match.
No, it's cool to see Penta on WrestleMania as well. Just again, someone you've watched for so long. It's oh wow, look at him. I'm sure that was a great moment. We saw someone put a clip of him in the crowd watching Rey Fenix wrestle from the night before, which is probably a really cool moment for both of them, the Lucha Bros, this weekend. So awesome. I love Dom winning. I think it's great. Something's going to eventually happen with the Finn Balor stuff and everything, but that'll have a whole breakdown. But I think the right guy won. He's clicking. Eventually he will be an organic, over babyface. It's already kind of happening because it's fun to boo him, but it's now it's wait, you're actually getting pretty good now. So good for him. Happy to see that. After that was Randy Orton taking on a mystery open challenge opponent here. And someone must have said his name, because out comes Joe Hendry, who lost in 3 minutes, 10 seconds to an RKO. And then a second one, I think, after for some good measure. But at least he didn't punt him, because I thought for a second that's what Randy was going to do. And I was like, Randy, come on, man. Believe. Don't do that. That would have been rude, I thought. Yeah,
I actually didn't see this coming. He wasn't someone I was thinking. And yeah, it got a good enough pop. It was a fun moment. Bit of a nothing match, but it was worth it for Randy doing the spin around pose and then putting his arms in the air. So,
his trunks too. The retro, the retro trunks.
Yes.
Yeah. We were asking him to do the overdrive, but it didn't happen.
I also I've seen some people be like, "Oh, way to bury the TNA World Champion." the way I see it, look, I follow football, soccer, if you will. You have the Premier League, you have the Championship, you have Division 1, Division 2. Like, the winners of the Division 1 won't be the winners of the Premier League. It's a different league. It's fine. You can be good in your league and not as good in another league. Just like when we see NXT people come up. Like, you're with the big boys now. So I don't see that. Like, and Joe kind of addressed it on NXT. It's like, yeah, I lost in 3 minutes. I was still on WrestleMania. What were you doing? So I kind of feel like, I'm sure he was ecstatic. You know, he's not even a WWE signed wrestler, and he's having a match with Randy Orton at WrestleMania, even if he is getting murdered. I thought it was pretty fun for what it was.
Absolutely. You couldn't debut Rusev or Malachi Black or any like one, because like Randy was gonna hit you with the RKO and that was it. So
yeah,
at least Hendry got his paycheck. He got on a WrestleMania. I'm sure his rate just went up. So good for Joe Hendry, and it won't be the last that we'll be talking about him when we talk about some NXT from tonight. But after that was Logan Paul versus AJ Styles. Everyone was wondering what the link was between these two. They both have epic history in Japan, and here they meet at WrestleMania, and Logan Paul has beaten one of the most looked up to wrestlers, one of the most just one of the ones, you know, one of the guys that everyone's like, oh, I love it. I don't know if anyone ever walks around and goes, yeah, I hate AJ Styles. And here he is losing to Logan Paul.
I thought AJ's WrestleMania streak continued of just disappointing WrestleMania matches. Yeah, you didn't even really have, like, Logan even seemed a little toned down. Like, he wasn't even doing as many flashy stuff as he normally would. I just found this dull. I didn't think it was bad. I didn't think it was good. I was just very forgettable match on the show, I thought.
Yeah, considering, AJ had a pretty good year and then that injury and then coming back, it's kind of like, I just don't know what else there is to do with AJ.
Isn't it wild that AJ Styles' best WrestleMania match, hands down, no arguments, is Shane O'Mac?
Wild.
Tell me a better WrestleMania match for AJ Styles than Shane McMahon at 33.
Wasn't this one. It was definitely not this one. But yeah, it happened on this show. We then went to the tag team for the women's tag team titles, where Bayley was injured, so her friend takes her spot. Becky Lynch, the man, has come around to Vegas and teams with Lyra Valkyria to take the titles from Liv and Raquel. I thought this was pretty cool pop for Becky. Like, Becky does still have that star power, and clearly it's still, she's still relevant. And people were, I think, the rumblings that Big E was even pretty much saying it on the pre-show, like, it's going to be her. But for a while, at least this year, we were like, hey, is she coming back? Is she like going to go into acting? Is she ever going to wrestle again? She's a mama now and this and that. And it was cool to see her have that moment with Lyra.
Just from like the pop, you were like, oh yeah, Becky is a huge star. And you've kind of forgotten how big she is and how missed she is. Kind of weird way of how they went about it with the whole Bayley thing and having Bayley off Mania. I can't say Bayley's had a very good year since last year's WrestleMania, but it's still Bayley. She's still a pretty big name. But yeah, I, again, didn't really think much of the match, but I thought the moment was very cool with Becky coming back, and I'm excited. We'll get into Raw in a second, but I was excited to see Becky back in the fold.
Yeah, like, I think that story will play out, that Becky obviously had something to do with Bayley and this and that, but the place went crazy for Becky, and she still is a big star, and interested to see where that goes after.
People
and
say
then
Becky, I wouldn't be surprised if it's Roxanne though. I think that's another option you could do, but yeah, maybe. You're
still clinging on for that match. You're like, oh, they're gonna do that match. If Bayley stays with WWE, right? I think she would stay, but her friend's having some fun. Maybe she would. True. Maybe she would go over and make some money if she wanted to one more time. Do a pay-per-view at Barclays.
Is there contract talk about Bayley?
There was a Chris Van Vliet interview, I think, that dropped today or yesterday with Bayley from like yesterday or today. So after what happened at WrestleMania, I think.
So she's better now, is she? She's okay.
She seemed a little defeated in the interview from the clips I saw. So people are like, of course, like, oh, is she gonna, what this and that? But And then, yeah, we kind of discussed already, but the main event of John Cena, Cody Rhodes, I think the first few minutes of the match are pretty cool. And then I heard Fiend one too many times, and I don't ever want to hear it again. And Cena's 17. He did a good thing today, but he did it in a sleazy way, Cena. And I guess we'll have to see what happens with that. But overall, kind of, I'm sorry to use the word, but kind of mid WrestleMania. Sorry.
Yeah, I'd say thumbs in the middle. I thought there were it was really the two triple threat matches that really held this weekend up. 3 triple threat matches, actually, if you count the NXT one. But very strong main event for night 1, very strong opener to night 2. A little bit of fun here and there, but overall, I'd say it's on the weaker end of WrestleManias we've had, and definitely sort of. I'd say kind of a bit of a. I'd say people are maybe starting to question the Paul Levesque run a little bit.
With The Rock is, that's for sure. The Rock said, if it was up to me, I'd adjust. That was the word he said. I would adjust a few things. I think I would too, Rock, if I was.
We got a super chat from Jake who said, am I being a crazy conspiracy theorist to think that Rock and Brian Gewirtz are trying to overthrow Triple H and creative, and he has heat with both of them? I've no idea. But I think Triple H must be kind of fuming, because we saw it with his NXT booking back in the day. He does plan ahead. He does think ahead of long stories and how he wants to peak them. And 2 years in a row now, he's telling a story, and then Rock comes in and he's like, and what if I do this? And it's like, well, fuck, okay. And this year, kind of just I'm putting the blame on The Rock. I think there's definitely some creative issues with Triple H, but how much of that stemmed off of what The Rock did, I don't know. I'm sure we might get some answers in that Unreal show, but who knows? But it feels like we could see some backstage drama playing out on TV in a way. So I wouldn't say complete conspiracy theorist there, Jake, because I've got my tinfoil hat on as well right now.
If you really had a tinfoil hat on, then you'd be saying something like, it's all set to build up for WrestleMania 42, The Rock, Triple H, one more ladder match, guys, for creative control over the stage.
Pacemaker on a pole match or whatever it is.
Come on, one more time. I guess The Rock will be busy. We'll be going through this whole thing again because he'll be filming his movie next year with Leonardo DiCaprio. So when's he going to have time for WrestleMania? Don't get your hopes up, guys. Yeah. We should listen to Dave Meltzer, Sean Ross Sapp, because it feels like they were the ones being like, he's not showing up. And now everyone's mad that he didn't show up. So The Rock, the worst part about this is I was at home. It's like, bro, even if you are filming, you're the fucking Rock. You could be like, yo, I got to show up, help John Cena and Travis Scott win. I think Scorsese and Leo would be like, yo, I'm going to come to that, actually. Let's go. No matter what movie, no matter where you are The Rock. You have a jet. You have a lot of expensive shirts. I don't know how many.
I think Scorsese and Leo were with Stax and Luca in the desert today, maybe. But
but bizarre. I still enjoy watching WrestleMania. We're fans. We love this stuff, but I think we were aiming too high. We were aiming too high, and I think that might piss Triple H off. So hopefully, he kicks things into gear, and I think that's what he tried to do on Monday night a little bit to appease some of the sickos, the hardcore.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of just I love The Rock. I feel disappointed we never got that Rock Cody match or that Rock Roman match, but
it's too far gone.
Moving forward, I'm like, it's too far gone. Let's focus on the crop of talent we have. Let's tell those stories. Let's get these people up because they've done a great job in the last year or so of making a Jey Uso, making a Cody, making all these stars that we don't need The Rock anymore. So stop dangling him in front of us.
We did in Toronto, apparently.
We needed cheaper tickets.
Cheaper tickets.
That's what we needed. Yes.
So that's WrestleMania. Again, we did talk about night 1 on our Stand and Deliver show after the fact, but then there was the Raw after Mania. Now, is this what Triple H was like? I'm sorry, guys. I'm so sorry. I've got
the pen again, guys. It's me. I'm back.
I'm doing this. He's dangling this in front of us. Like, hey, look, don't worry. Look, I can do some cool things too. So where do we start with? Again, going to John Cena Oh, we're talking.
Okay.
Oh, we're going to the main
Let's
thing.
go with I'm sick of John for a little bit.
Yeah,
we can go back.
You, John.
But...
So the big angle coming out at the end of the show is Seth Rollins, Paul Heyman. Then Punk comes out. Then Roman comes out. Then Braun Breaker. Were you like me and worried? Some dude in a hoodie. I'm like, don't be another Samoan. Don't tell me this is Rikishi's nephew or something. Oh God. Okay, it's Braun. Okay.
I was so happy. I was saying earlier in the
Solo
show,
Sikoa.
as I'm watching this, I'm going, I wonder if Paul's going to add more people, because they've teased the Braun thing before. We had Braun and Paul in on NXT having a little moment. I think it was at that, wasn't it that one head-to-head with AEW when Paul Heyman was there? They've teased it. Heyman said multiple times in interviews about Braun Breaker. He has actually been an advisor for him backstage and giving him advice. So I think this is great. I think it puts the rocket on Braun. It was the right move getting this title off him. And now you can have a bit of a Batista Triple H slow burn. I think we've been talking about Seth Rollins should take that world title from Jey Uso pretty quickly. And if that can peak with a crowning of Braun Breaker, who is such a badass, even if he's playing a heel, everyone loves him because this guy's awesome. Like, look at him. Look at the stuff he's capable of. I think it's a great move. So I was pretty happy by the end of Raw. Like, yes, let's go with Braun Breaker. I love this. It feels fresh. It feels great for Seth. Like, it's a change of character that's absolutely needed. And I would be curious, are we adding any more people to this? I keep seeing the new Dangerous Alliance being battered around. I'd love to see Becky in with this group.
I think
having a female would be
turn
cool.
happened. Yeah. When the turn happened, it came across my mind like, hey, it does seem like WWE, like most beer leagues, you have to have at least one or two women on your team to play the game, and that's what's fair is fair, and it would make a whole lot of sense with the man turning heel being big time Bex with her husband with Paul Heyman. That's pretty wild. I was wondering, is this more of a 2-man power trip and Becky, or are we adding someone like, do we need a Mark Jindrak in here to make it Evolution?
Like, I was wondering if you had a tag team with them, have these as the solo guys, Seth and Braun. I wouldn't be surprised if we get a tag match.
That's the Backlash
match.
For sure, yeah.
With these four, Roman, Punk, Braun, and Seth. But I wouldn't mind seeing like a tag team being brought into this, and then have tag team, the star, a next prospect, and a women's star. And I think could really work and could be pretty exciting.
No, I love that. I mean, I've been saying for what feels like weeks, months, like it should be Seth winning this. It should be him with Paul. It's a whole fresh coat of paint. I was a little nervous because he still kind of came out dressed like a loofah, but we'll work on that. I just want, like, Braun Breaker looks scary even just in his workout gear, whereas like Seth always dresses all like, colorful and everything. So we'll see if he can find that balance and if there's any tweaks to that character, because I can't see Paul Heyman coming out dressed like Seth. Like, very colorful. He's had purple before.
I love that.
Yeah. So I'm definitely excited to see where they can go. That is definitely the direction for Backlash with the tag match, and maybe that's where you have the introduction to a third man or third person, and they're definitely going over Punk and Roman. But yeah, I thought that was really great from Raw. I mentioned John Cena, his thing with the 27 dates left, and then Randy Orton RKOing him, which then easily sets up a layup there for Backlash in St. Louis. One more time, Randy Orton versus John Cena. He took that RKO, but the best part was he just goes, shit, and then gets hit with it. I'm not going to lie. You can't put enough lipstick on this pig to make me, as a wrestling fan from all these years ago, to go, yes, John Cena and Randy Orton. We recently watched their Iron Man match, as I see someone in the chat saying, yeah, do a 2-hour Iron Man match. Yeah, make it a 5-hour.
All marathon. The explosions. Yes.
Yeah. So what I'm trying to say is, fuck, all right, just do it one more time.
I'm completely for it. was, apart from that Iron Man match, I've never really been in love with their matches. Cena is limited now, but I also kind of don't care. I'm up for it. You got to do it. It's Cena's last year. Randy is a super hot babyface right now. It's in St. Louis, and just for the novelty of having a babyface Randy against a heel John Cena, I am kind of for it. I can watch AEW if I want to see a good wrestling match. But
oh my god, you admit it.
for some spectacle, and that's what WWE gives me. I am absolutely for Randy Orton, John Cena, and whatever it's going to look like.
I agree. It's just like, yeah, you're not. It's not coming out of my mouth that I'm gonna say I can't wait to see this match. But like, I'll be watching 100%. And you know what? On top of that, I'll say just wait till they do CM Punk versus Cena at the Money in the
Chicago.
Bank.
Yeah.
It's in LA, right? The Intuit Dome.
Oh, they're doing the yeah.
So that's clearly the plan. John Cena is doing the when your favorite band says they're retiring and they're doing Kiss when they went on their retirement tour in 2000 that they're still on in 2025. They said we're going to play all our best hits, and that's what this tour is. You're getting it right here. John Cena versus Randy Orton one last time. Whether you were sick of it or not, you're getting it. And I think they will go to CM Punk and John Cena. Like, we were there at the Chamber. It was really cool and special when they linked up and fought again. But I think there's enough juice to do that one last time while you can, right? Like, but then what's the question is, what's his actual last match? And is that reserved for Cody getting the win back?
I think that makes the most sense. I would say Cody or Punk would be the last match. My opinion. I do think we've got who is it in the chat? Jamie in the chat saying Punk is his actual best rival alongside Edge. I
agree.
I put Punk above Edge. I think CM Punk had the best matches with John Cena. They've just got a weird chemistry that just works. And if you're not doing Cody, like, you could have Punk be the one who wins the title from Cena, and that sets up Cody chasing Punk at next year's Mania or something. Right, yeah. But it's one or the other. I can't really see any other options other than those two.
Yeah, totally. That is definitely the track that they're going on for this last time is now tour that we're going for. Another thing today or yesterday, Monday, April 21st, happened to be Raw after Mania, but it also happened to be Rusev Day, because Rusev returns. WWE's been putting out some good merch lately. I think that should be said. But this Rusev return shirt that they put out, seems like they quickly said into Chat GPT, hey, can you just type out Rusev returns and put it on a t-shirt? But Rusev attacks Otis, and game over for the mid card on Monday nights. What do you think?
I used to be a very big Rusev fan, and I saw a very high ceiling for him in AEW that was never really capitalized on. And I'll say the same with Aleister Black. They both soured me on them. So I don't know where he fits in. It's cool. It's the right time to debut. You've got that Raw after Mania. It is the time to debut people. Him coming out and attacking Otis and Tozawa isn't the most exciting thing in the world. And I kind of think wrestling might have passed him by a little bit. He still looks like an absolute beast. Like, he looks in great shape. Those traps are ridiculous. But I'm not as excited about a Rusev return as I would have been 2 or 3 years ago.
Yeah, I kind of agree. Like, I think seeing some of the wrestling that he did in AEW was like, okay, there's some good stuff, but there was also some stuff that was like, maybe it wasn't the creative beforehand. I don't know. It was something that was not clicking, but I mean, maybe this is a reset for him. And I do think that we'll be seeing Lana very soon, and maybe get the Drama King. Why not? He could come in.
The TNA connection right now. So yeah, good.
Other big angle from yesterday was Jey Uso coming out, obviously, to celebrate and yeeting all over the place. But then his boy, his Oos, Sami Zayn, made an appearance, and he came out to wish Jey Uso a congratulations for finally winning a world title for the family, the bloodline. And we had a great moment in celebration. and a great. This reminded me of what is it in AEW after the tag match of the Bucks versus Kenny and Hangman, when Hangman is like on the apron ready to he's hitting basically the pose for the buckshot, and then he doesn't and holds the rope. Sammy stares at Jey Uso, and it sounded like Michael Cole or Pat even was about to say, or whoever it was about to say the same thing, like, "Oh, I think I saw something there," which I think they should have just said it, but he's then interrupted by Jimmy Uso, who then also, and then they all celebrate. The only thing missing was the Too Cool dance with Rikishi here. But did you see what some people saw with Sami Zayn giving him a little look-see there?
I did. I don't know if that interests me. I don't mind seeing the match, but I don't think I'm interested in a Sami Zayn heel turn at this point. I think he spent way too long of his main roster career as a heel, which just seems, and he was good at it, but he's a natural babyface.
Such a natural babyface.
Yeah. And I'd love to see him win the title one day as a babyface against a top heel. For the sake of just getting to the match, I think you could build it like, oh, you're my brother, you're my Oos, like, let's have the match.
My dog.
And my dog, yeah. You supported me through all this time. You got me to this point. You got me out of the bloodline. You got me to be main event Jey Uso, etc. And you deserve a title match. And have it. You can have like both leading heel in the match if you want, but I don't want to see Sammy turn on Jey. I kind of don't think many people would want to see that, if I'm being honest.
It strike me like, what? Why would you do that? You shouldn't do that. Like, Sammy has been heel, and then they finally like strikes hot, and they haven't fully capitalized yet. I don't know if they ever truly will, but if you asked anyone a year ago, 2 years ago, would Sami Zayn become world champion or would Jey Uso? I think most people would say Sami Zayn if out of the two. And look, stranger things have happened, and I do think his day will come one day, but he's in a weird position because he's supposed to be coming back from the Owens thing. He missed Mania. I don't want to see Sammy turn heel. I wouldn't mind a like one-on-one match, maybe babyface versus babyface. Eventually, I do see him dropping the title to Seth. So, regardless of what happens, the Money in the Bank show could be that Seth match. Sooner or later, he's going to have to lose that belt, I think, to him. So. But that was cool. I guess it was interesting, at least putting that seed in your mind, like, hey, we could go that direction. So I mentioned my I guess displeasure in some of WrestleMania, and then Triple H, you go do something and totally redeem yourself, because Io Sky comes out to be like, hey, I won at WrestleMania. I had my moment, and I'm the best. When Stephanie Vaquer from NXT, the NXT Women's Champ, comes out and says, yeah, you are the best, but I'm the best too. So why don't we find out who really is the best? The match I've been talking about since we've laid eyes on Stephanie Vaquer in NXT. And here it is for free, sort of, on Netflix, here on Raw. And the match delivered for me. This was awesome. It probably goes this match, then the triple threat as my WrestleMania weekend matches go, because if you didn't know who Stephanie Vaquer was, I think you do now. So huge star in the rise for Stephanie, and an epic Raw match, in my opinion. These ladies absolutely killed it. Two of the best wrestlers on the entire freaking planet, and they killed it. Loved it. Yeah,
I loved it, and I actually wasn't mad about the DQ finish at all, because I don't think we need to see a finish to this match yet. This was a great taster. It was a great way to involve Roxanne and Julia as well, and kind of getting them slightly established with this audience as well to promote NXT. And I imagine all of them will be called up. Really well, Roxanne, I think especially. I think they'll all be coming up within the next year. But yeah, this absolutely showcased Stephanie incredibly well, and the crowd seemed really into it. This was, I like when they do this. I think they did it with Dragunov one year, where you have all the big like return angles and stuff, but then it's like, hey, we're just going to give you a really good match on this show as well. And I appreciated that with Raw yesterday.
And it's great. It's like you have Io cutting promos in English and Japanese, and then we got, Stephanie here speaking in Spanish. It's crazy. It's awesome. And then they went out and tore it down. Like, oh man, again, I think these are two of the best wrestlers, and I can't wait till one day we get a rematch where we'll get a definite winner. But holy crap, like Michael Cole, I think on commentary was doing a great job of explaining like their history, and that even though they went through the same places, Michael Cole, big Joshi fan, seems to know his shit though when it comes to referencing Joshi. So I'm not making fun of him. I'm actually praising him. Plus Michael Cole's a babyface after Monday Night Raw. In a sec we'll discuss. But
oh yeah, I
thought they did a great job of promoting like, hey, Io Sky is already now proven WWE legend. Like here, getting the crowd, every audience she wrestles in the last little while feels like her hometown. And again, this is someone I always was my favorite. So I'm so happy. And then Stephanie's in the rise. But Michael Cole gets almost attacked here by Gunther. I mean, he does get attacked for talking shit, I guess, just doing his job. And Pat McAfee, for the save, takes a little nap here on Monday Night Raw. But he had to wake up because The Rock was going to be on his show to shit on Triple H. So he's okay.
On his program, did you see that?
Program, yes.
Program?
Maybe because they're using AI, probably. But
either, or he was, the lack of oxygen to the brain. He forgot how to spell after Monday. I love this angle. I've been loving Michael Cole since Vince has gone, and he kind of said that on when he was on the Pat McAfee show, where he's like, I'm not a puppet anymore. I'm just Michael Cole. I'm me. This is me. And I'm having the best time of my career. And it really shows on his commentary. I think Pat, like, love him or hate him with Pat McAfee. I know he's a bit like, what's the word? Polarizing. That's it. But I think he does bring out an awesome side of Michael Cole where he just seems to love his job. And it has been infectious, and I think the crowd do really respect him at this point. And to have Michael Cole being like, he gets the Lee fitting shot here, where he's like, no, screw that. I'm not letting some bully stop me do my job. And the repeated like, hey, we're here to have an opinion, and if we can't have an opinion, we can't do our job, and we shouldn't be in the position where we're getting attacked and all this. I loved it. I thought it was great. Where do you see this going? Is
Pat McAfee versus Gunther? Let's go.
I
quit match.
Okay.
Submission match. Hardcore match. Cage match.
This might be a bit weird, but I wonder if this is going to be a very weird way to bring in Bill Goldberg against Gunther, because we have that match kind of penciled in for some point this year.
Yeah.
I don't know if we're going to see Pat wrestle again. I wonder if it's like, you could have Bill on the Pat McAfee show or something.
Right,
and
yeah.
I wonder if it's a way to like get to that down the line.
It was just recently Goldberg was talking about this, about how he has a deal. Like he's got a deal for a match.
It sounds like that's the match. Like he pretty much confirmed it, that they're doing Gunther and Bill Goldberg at some point.
Okay, yeah. So Pat McAfee will talk about some football on his show. Bill Goldberg, and gets involved, and then they set up SummerSlam, right?
Or Saudi.
Oh yeah.
Could see it. Yeah, one or the other. But you got 2 nights of SummerSlam, so that's a big thing you could do.
That'd be a dream match, even though Goldberg's up there. Like that's still a pretty wild like meeting of two kind of juggernauts there. We'll see. I can't say it's going to be good, but it's kind of like, will it be? I don't know. It's not going to be good, but it has my attention. It'll be like Butterbean and Suzuki. You have my attention, but I'm not expecting, much out of it. I did like the angle though. I thought Pat.
Yeah, I thought it was great.
Again, Pat, like he can have moments where I'm like, okay, but then like I get it because you can't have two straight you need like a color commentator, and I think he provides like he's kind of broy, and I say kind of he's broy, but like that it adds to it when you have Michael Cole being like giving you facts and running things down, and like I don't know, it's good. I don't know, it works.
Yeah,
I think
I liked it a lot.
Was there anything else from Monday Night Raw?
We kind of hinted at the Becky turn when we were talking about Seth, but I enjoyed that as well. It's very quick to turn Becky heel, but they're really trying to get Lyra over. And Becky versus Lyra, it was a pretty good match in NXT. The problem is with Lyra, they are relying on her wrestling to get her over. And it's interesting because you mentioned both Stephanie and Io, who English isn't their first language and it isn't their strongest point, but there's such a natural charisma for both of them that shines through that the language barrier doesn't hold them back. Lyra speaks English, but there's a disconnect with the audience. And I think what they're trying to do is just be like, hey, but she's really good in ring. And I think a Becky match could maybe, I think it's a real attempt. Like if that doesn't get her to the next level, I'm not quite sure what is. And Becky seems to be a really big advocate for Lyra Valkyria. So I could see Becky being like, hey, let me come back. Let me be a heel to try and get Lyra over. But they had a good match in NXT. So I wonder.
Yeah, I kind of would have liked to see them tag for a bit longer before this because Becky just gets that big reaction still. But
do you think Becky was like, wait, sorry, I'm meant to be on NXT tomorrow? Oh, no. We're dropping these tonight. We're doing the angle now.
Yeah. We're going to do it now. I'm not going back to NXT. I guess that was it from Monday Night Raw. Anything else from WrestleMania weekend? I don't think we talked about Stone Cold on his ATV.
Is that fan okay?
WrestleMania moment. What do you mean? If that was me, dog? Yeah. Oh, my back, my neck. Yeah. Oh, need a few Steve Weisers. Yeah, it's crazy. You watch WrestleMania 9 or you watch the Becoming a Spectacle, which we recently reviewed, documentary that they put out about WrestleMania 9 in Vegas. You'll see Nick Khan as a ticket holder or a ticket taker or something like an usher, in the venue, scoping things out. And then when you watch WrestleMania 41, the next time they go to Vegas, you'll see Nick Khan going over to this poor woman who was maybe hit by Stone Cold, maybe, because I'm not quite sure if she was selling or bumping, but sure, Nick Khan was like, don't worry, we got you covered.
Yeah.
Don't sue us.
What do you want? What do you want?
Don't sue us.
Super Bowl tickets? Gotcha. Yeah.
Yeah, so she's set for life, hopefully. But I just have watched too many memes and things of Stone Cold on that ATV. So he's talked about
what
now.
Makes me really sad, though, is that's probably going to be, we're going to see more people just walking their bike to the ring like Undertaker has been recently. Right. Stone Cold was always so impressive, the way he sped down that thing. And
have you seen the video though of him missing? He had the reason, if you remember, his music hits and it takes for a while for him to even show up because it makes you wonder, is he actually coming out?
Right.
And it's because someone has a video, he misses the first ramp completely. So they had to help him get back on, which was any indication. Then he ended up hitting someone. But he did say that he had to be up at I think he said he joked that his alarm was at 3:16 that morning and that he woke up still drunk from the night before. So that could explain some things. But she's okay. No one was hurt. Only thing hurt was those $3 beers all over the ground. $30 beers, sorry. But WrestleMania moment is Austin on the ATV. If they want to turn, something like this into some money, the figure set coming soon. Austin on an ATV. WrestleMania play set
just stuck to a barricade. It's the whole thing. You can't remove it.
Comes with there was a video game on PS2, Crush Hour. What was that one? You ever play that one? It's WWE, and it's
okay,
weird. But anyways, WrestleMania has come and gone, and those were the memories we had from it. Did you end up checking? I know it's been a busy week, but did you end up checking anything else out from anything else going on this weekend? There was a whole lot.
If I've not been watching wrestling, I've been working I really haven't had a chance. So I can't say I'm really going to go back to see anything this year. I'm pretty wrestled out. And I was curious by Butterbean Suzuki. I think I can leave it. Maybe at the end of the year with worst match of the year, I can revisit that.
There was some I'm still kind of cherry picking here. So if anyone out there, please let me know what your favorite stuff is, because I did cherry pick some things, and that was one of was just so awful that it definitely was worth checking. It's only 5 minutes. It was brutal. It was awful, but there was some awful stuff. There was some good stuff, and it's always a good, especially the stuff with the ID. WWE, that whether that's good or bad, I could see there's some potential here. I know some people were talking about Michael Oku having a great week. With it Marcus Mathers, we've seen a bunch as well on the Indies. One of the WWE ID guys.
Marshall Mathers?
No. This Marcus guy, we've seen him a bunch up here at Demand Lucha, actually, as well here in Toronto. But it's always cool because eventually these people will be on the shows we're talking about. Like some of the guys or the women that stole the show on some of these will be on NXT next year by the time we're talking about. So it is always cool to see. And highlight and low light is still Sabu and Joey Janela. That will be talked about at the end of the year, but magical. Okay. What happens in Vegas stays in Vegas for a reason, I think. So like Sabu's plaque. But so there you go. That was WrestleMania. We made it all the way here. And oh wait, there's still NXT to talk about.
Oh wait, yeah, we haven't done the thing we're all here for. Yes.
We talked an hour plus already, and I'm sorry we haven't even talked about NXT, but we can do that now if you'd like.
Sure.
You still want us to do it.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah,
only got a flight in about 5 hours, but it's
no. I'm gonna stretch things out. Then
NXT, cool.
Yeah, I'm gonna dissect all these promos as slowly as I can.
I mean, we do need a good hour on the Tony Stack story, I think.
There was an image today posted that actually had my mind thinking of a few things. So we did briefly discuss on the other show on Sunday the acquisition, is that the right word, of AAA by WWE, and it looks like we are getting a Worlds Collide show in a few months, and on the same day as Money in the Bank. Oh my God, they're pushing things together here. Lots of wrestling in one day. So we're gonna get a AAA show. But then Shawn Michaels posted a photo today with Marufuji talking about how there's some news coming involving Noah. So they bought AAA. Acquired AAA. So just like putting it out there, is Noah next? Is The Rock in that Rubik's Cube any indication that they might just start buying other companies and AAA just happens to be the first one? Like, I think that might be the case. Maybe. What do you think about that?
Possibly. I mean, it's they always wanted to do this global localization thing, right? NXT Europe, NXT Japan, and maybe this is the way about it. We already have the Noah connection with Inamura, who's been on excursion in NXT. So perhaps, why not Worlds Collide? We've got Forbidden Door, which is what CMLL, New Japan, and AEW. Yeah, we could have a Worlds Collide with NXT, Marigold, AAA, Noah. Why not?
I'm just like, if they buy Noah, they would have to buy it from Cyberfight, or would they buy Cyberfight because they also own DDT? And that makes me think, would we have DDT and
buying them, or more of just a partnership, kind of like they've got with TNA, maybe more that kind of thing? I don't know.
Yeah, fair enough. Okay, fair enough. Either way.
It's like, I'm sure people are upset about, I don't care. It's Noah. Like, whatever. Like, sorry. I know there are purists out there who are like, oh my God, no. But it's like, if I get Marufuji in NXT, cool. Buy away.
Shawn Michaels is like, hey, Marufuji, we're trying to buy a Japanese wrestling company. Could you help us out? Marufuji's like, yeah, don't worry, Shawn. I know a guy. And then he just buys them. Anyway, I want one step closer to Yoshihiko and NXT DDT, and I'll reiterate. I love DDT over the past weekend, and I will be going to Peter Pan later this year, and I am very, very excited. So anyone is going to that, let me know, because we'd love to get into some more DDT. But maybe they'll buy it, but we'll see. Noah, AAA, New Japan. What was the deal with that Rubik's Cube? Maybe you'll just buy New Japan too. Fuck it, buy them all. Local globalization. NXT Italy coming soon. But we go to Las Vegas for the last time this week. Last time ever. Last time here for WWE with WrestleMania Weekend as we talk about NXT. We used to call these the Takeover Hangover shows, but it's not called that anymore. There's no clever name for Stand and Deliver. So we're here at the Fontainebleau. Nice little place. This was the home of the roast of WrestleMania, which I don't know if I've heard some things, seen some things, seen some more things, heard some more things.
I've been catching up on it. A lot of Charlotte and Nia stuff by the sound of it. I'm waiting for our boy Samet to come back and give us the real lowdown.
I got some messages from some people who attended and told me some things, and then I was like corroborate, like, okay, this person said this, and then the other person said this must be true, and this, and I'm like, okay, some things were said, but I guess they'll never release it, I'm assuming, because if you edit it, it's like, what's the point? But there has been some things released and some clips, and if you're really interested, you can find them. But we're at this event venue here. It looked nice here for NXT as we kick off NXT from Tuesday, April 22nd, 2025 in the Blue Live Theater. And we kick things off with Vic Joseph, Booker T, and Corey Graves. And Vic welcomes us to this venue and says, hey, Book, the last time you were here the other night, you were asleep during the Hall of Fame speeches. And Booker says, nah, bro, I wasn't sleeping. I was praying. So bless you, Booker. So we kick things off with a WWE Women's Tag Team title match. The new champions, meaning they lost the titles at Mania and won them back on Raw, Liv and Raquel, who I think they said 4-time champions. Yep. Wow. Raquel is like a 7-time tag champion.
Jeez. Something like that, yeah.
Ridiculous. They're taking on the team of Gigi, Dolin, and Tatum Paxley, 2 members of Chemical X. And as this match starts, Liv Morgan is screaming while beating down on, I think, on Tatum here. And Booker T starts yelling at Vic Josephs about the Pat McAfee and the Gunther stuff. I wasn't quite sure what was up Booker T's, what was pissing him off here, but he was like really upset about the angle with Pat and Michael Cole and everything. Maybe he's scared that, like, as a commentator, he could be attacked. Raquel is swinging Paxley around. They keep beating down on Tatum when they go in commercial break. Now, I'm in Canada. I'm in Toronto. And usually, since NXT has been on Netflix, we get the picture-in-picture. But this match did not have it. It just played the rave music. So I was vibing during the commercial. When we came back, they would, though, different matches.
I got the whole match here.
Are you sure? Because certain matches got it and certain matches did not. And a few other people said the same thing. So I'm not sure.
Or maybe I watched on a little delay, so maybe it just skipped the commercial for me.
Yeah, I think you maybe right. If they don't play the gap when you watch it not live. So if you tune in later, it'll skip it for you. So yes, this did not have picture-in-picture. We have Liv Morgan hitting the 3 Amigos on Paxley. Gigi finally gets a hot tag. She's hitting all sorts of attacks and then hits a half and half, which looked great on Liv for a 2 count. And Corey Graves, I think, echoing some of your words lately, is saying, wow, we need to see more of that side of Gigi Dolin hitting crazy suplexes. There's a crazy Rana from Paxley on Raquel for a 2 count. A 450 splash, but that's broken up. Eventually, they're going for one of their moves, the Cemetery Gates or Cemetery Drive.
Cemetery Drive, yeah.
But Liv flies off the top with a code breaker and then hits Oblivion on Gigi and gets the win and retain the tag titles. But Liv has made that Oblivion look pretty cool. Not as snug as the one. I mean, it looks still amazing, but the one on Raw,
the one on Wire,
pulled her hair.
Right.
Yeah, looked crazy. But yeah, Liv and Raquel win.
This was fine. It didn't do a whole lot for me. I think Tatum looked very good in this. I think she's improved a lot and was holding up. Liv has improved so much as well. Like, she's become just such a comfortable performer in the last year or so, like very comfortable in this character. Out of the 4 here, very much the best in the ring. But the match was just fine. I don't think there was any real drama in it. No one really saw Tatum or Gigi taking these titles, but I thought a better showing from Gigi here, and it was fine.
Yeah, it didn't do too much for me. Liv has gotten better, and I think just as the heel persona, it has created such like a better character for her.
I also just didn't think this theater looked gorgeous, but I don't know if it was the way it was set out or just the fact that probably these people have been at 5-6 nights of wrestling in a row, because it did seem quite quiet, and I don't think this was particularly a hot match to get you woken up or excited to start this show.
Yeah, like you have the star power of Liv, I guess, but yeah. But speaking of star power, Penn and Teller are back here on NXT. We loved them so much that we had to get.
Did you like that magic trick last time? Well, let's do it again.
Oh, boy. Okay, so great time for my girlfriend to walk into the room while I was watching NXT to be like, who are these old guys on TV? I'm like, oh, they're Penn and Teller. They're in Vegas, so they're with magicians. And that's when Lexis King is in this shot, right? And my girlfriend thought I was talking about him and asked, is that the Vegas magician who does stuff with tigers? Referring to Lexis King. And I went, I think you mean Siegfried and Roy or whoever those guys are. That would have been sick. Yeah. Whoever had tigers back in the day in Vegas. There was like the guy with the flowy
David
hair.
Copperfield, I think.
Yeah. We needed that. Yeah. We needed that instead of whatever this was. But they admit that they say you have to admit that our magic trick was good and then we'll give you the cup back. So they want him to lie to them about that magic trick. And then they give him the cup back, but then say you have to defend it tonight against an open challenge, a mystery opponent, and Lex that. So yeah, 0-2 Penn and Teller segments.
I imagine this was possibly filmed when they did
possibly.
The other
100%.
But like, I just felt like the reveal should have just been the cage. Like the curtain comes up and it's Noam Dar with the trophy, right?
Yeah.
Like, or done it like if they were there, done it on the stage with Noam Dar, but. Yeah, it's not good.
I wanted Mind Freak on there instead. We get a compilation, some clips from the weekend with the GCW Collective and Bloodsport, where we saw a lot of WWE talent. Like pretty much every match had some WWE talent in this, including Dempsey and Natalia. I heard Natalia really stole that show with a whole different side to her that some people are saying we need to see in WWE.
I don't believe you. I'm not watching it.
Everybody's saying it was great and stole the show. Bloodsport isn't necessarily for me. I think when you're there live, it's a way more fun experience. But when you watch it at home, it still just comes across as fake MMA. So I can't see I'm like too over the moon about it. But I get it. But like, you know, I don't want to.
Yeah, honestly, it does nothing for me. I don't want to watch Karrion Kross wrestle. I absolutely do not want to watch Karrion Kross fake fight. Same goes with Natalia. I get people like it. It's absolutely not for me. Absolutely.
Yeah. It can be hit or miss for me, but it's cool and helps, you know, people get over, I'm sure. But we see Ren and Miles
but this was
watching.
Cool, seeing the clips from GCW.
Yeah. At least they're actually showing the collective and giving them some spotlight here and explaining to people who might not know and might be interested to see in the future shows. Because if you do go to a future Bloodsport, the chances are it will be full of WWE and NXT talent, AEW talent, and sometimes mixed in there and everything. So it is pretty cool. And what they do with the collective is awesome. Again, you see a lot of alternative stuff if the big, you know, giant stuff isn't for you. We see Ren and Bourne watching this, and Miles with a little bit of a shot, I think, to Bloodsport. He said, I wasn't invited. So, guys, I think they've had him on before, though, if I'm not mistaken. So we got to get him back. Yeah, I could be wrong. But, yeah, get him there. Why not? That'd be pretty sick. This is when Dark State, they walk in. They're being mean, like, oh, yeah, it's because you suck. And just break up now. And they get in a little bit of an argument. When Javon Evans walks by and says, you know, you guys think you can keep beating people up and bullying people? Well, like, I'm going to step up to you. And they're challenged to a tag match, meaning Miles and Javon against two members of Dark State. And they say, we're going to go tell Ava to get this match made tonight. Yeah. We go to Ricky Saints backstage. He's coming down to cut a promo. He comes out. And right away, Vic Joseph asks Booker what he thinks of Ricky Stark's outfit. Says he looks like $1 million, and Booker says,
"No, wait. I think it's Corey was like he looks like $2 million," and Booker's like, "What the fuck are you talking about?"
Booker says, "This is a very talented young man, but disagree with you on that." So Booker just shitting all over Ricky Saints' fashion here. Not a fan of the mesh shirts, maybe.
I didn't think it looked great. I didn't like the baggy pants and the clumpy boots he was wearing, but Booker's like, until Ricky works Reality of Wrestling, he's not gonna like Ricky Saints.
Yeah, fair enough. So we see Ricky has the mic. He says it was great to be in NXT and wrestle on Stand and Deliver and finally beat Ethan Page, who will probably remain a thorn in my side forever. But I said I was going to change things, and look at me. I'm the man around here now. When he's interrupted by Lexis King, who comes out with his Heritage Cup, fresh from Penn and Teller, and says that it doesn't matter about any of the the 4 ways or the 3 ways or anything with the odds stacked against me. I've had enough of that in Vegas. I'm not sure if he's alluding to him gambling in Vegas or some of the other shenanigans maybe he got up to, but he keeps mentioning a lot of 3 ways and 4 ways, but says that he's had enough of that and wants a match and wants that title and challenges Ricky for that when Ricky says, well, how about we do a winners takes all match? And they set it up for next week where whoever wins gets both the cup and the North American title. At first, I thought...
For me, this just tipped it off that what was happening after.
So bizarre to do. Wouldn't you just do this after that match? Wouldn't you just do it after?
Then you can't do the double. You can't tease it, can you?
So don't tease it at all. I just thought this was like, then why did you do it that way? So this match is announced for next week, guys. Winner takes all, not a unification. Don't get that in your head. Don't get excited like I did. Like, ooh, could this finally be the end of this stupid cup? But no, that won't be the case. So that match is set, and these guys they have a little segment here. So we'll more on that later. We see Hank and Tank earlier today. I don't know. There was anything that you already kind of said it. Like, we don't even.
But for me, as soon as they set this up, I was like, oh, whoever this surprise person is winning this.
Winning the cup. Yeah. We see Hank and Tank earlier today at NXT with their NXT tag team titles, hot off their win from Fraxium, when they're chatting with Sol Ruca and Zarya. This segment was like a camera cuts to like 12 different people in about 12 different seconds. It's like, okay, here's Sol, Zarya, then Thea Hale, then Jada Parker, then Kalani, then Fatal Influence, then Fallon's like everyone was mad.
Oh, it was. Yeah, like Hank and Tank and Sol are celebrating their title wins. Thea comes in super excited about being back and the ladder match. Jada's mean to her. It's like, yo, you need to calm down. Things are different around here. Kalani comes in and she's mean to Thea as well. Like, yeah, we're all mean. We're all bitches now. And then Fatal Influence come in and they're like, yeah, we're bitches too. And then JC turns around and is a bitch to Fallon. And it's like, oh, I guess Fatal Influence are breaking up as well. So just... yeah, and more bickering backstage.
Lots of bickering, but Hank and Tank are happy, so let's be happy for them. Lexis King is still in the ring. That rhymed. He's going to have his Heritage Cup on the line, and the open challenge, who's it going to be? Supernova 11, Noam Dar, has returned to NXT. It has been 11 months since he was injured. They referenced Ethan Page, I think, was the one who took responsibility for this all those months ago. But here he is, the Supernova roller, and he's back. The cup was his thing, right? He loved this cup. He was all about the cup. He would get sad when he lost it and all this stuff. Remember? We remember. And here he is back in NXT to face King for the cup. Right away when this match starts, there's no rounds here, so maybe Noam had to wrestle Lexis King's rules. My way, my rules. He gets Lexis into like a headlock and then like puts his thumb or his hand over his tongue a little bit to wet it and then tries to rub off Lexis King's beard. I thought that was a great bit. It looked like it was starting to work, actually, because it does look like it's painted on his face. Dar gets a submission attempts here and then ankle lock, but then eventually countered and thrown into the turnbuckle. We get a huge jumping knee from King, followed up by a super kick for a near fall. But then when he tries to go for, I think, setting up for the coronation, he's hit with a fake out from Dar and the Judas effect. The swinging back elbow, 1, 2, 3, the Nova Roller, I think he calls it.
This isn't the Nova Roller though. Nova Roller was like a kind of kick move he did. Like Corey identified it as that, and unless he's like changed it, but yeah, this back elbow. I didn't think much of this at all.
It was so quick. It just felt like a few moves, and then
it then cuts to the crowd, and they're all on their phones. Like it just felt. What was also really weird is Booker is kind of going off on how Noam Dar, he's been off 11 months. He's not quite in ring shape. And Corey's like, yeah, he's not really in ring shape. And then he hits the elbow and wins. And it's just, way to build up this guy. I thought this was very weak.
Yeah, I don't know. It didn't work. I think if you did this in the PC, it would have got a better reaction. Like, not saying it didn't get people reacting, but some of the people here might just be here because it's the last drizzling drops of WrestleMania weekend. You're like, oh, cool, I'll go. It's cheap or whatever. It probably wasn't, but like, and then you might not follow or not. Like, I don't know. WrestleTix, I think, had this around 1,100 people or something like that from when I checked when the show started, but it just didn't feel weird. Even the finish, the elbow was like, oh, that was it. Okay.
We've seen him hit this way nicer as well. Like, it didn't look as devastating as it has. Yeah, I didn't like this at all. I didn't think either looked impressive. Happy Noam Dar's back because I do like Noam Dar, but having him inserted right back into the same spot he was, like, this is what his 4th time as Heritage Cup champion. He's either got to bring the rules back or retire it. I don't know. It's this. I'd have preferred to have just seen him come out and see Lash and Jakara or whatever as a return. This didn't work. And I think you're right. In front of the PC crowd, it would have felt a bigger deal because they'd have popped for him. But yeah, this did nothing for me.
So I'm happy he's back, but I wouldn't have put him in this position. I don't know what to do with him, really. Like, we ran its course before he was injured with this cup beforehand. And what's even worse for me is he's probably going to bring back the rounds. So
I know you don't like, I take it because otherwise, what is the point of this trophy? Like, at least the rounds make it something different.
I would just get rid of it. I thought for a second with like we would unify it or something, but alas. We see Roxanne Perez backstage with Sarah. She's being interviewed. She says she watched Monday Night Raw and is asked about what happened with Stephanie Vaquer. She says Stephanie Vaquer went on Raw and claimed a division that I built. And that was supposed to be my moment last night, but she interrupted that and she went in there before me. And see, Stephanie isn't 100%. She had to defend her title in a 4-way and then wrestled Io. And tonight I get a title shot. And I know the routine. I've done it. I've done the media. I've done the wake up early. Done it all. And I retained my title when I did. So tonight I'm going to take that title from Stephanie and walk out a 3-time champion. I like this, weaving in that, like, oh, I've been in her shoes before. I've woken up at 4 a.m. to do media calls and do, training and this and this and this and this. And this time around, I'm going to take advantage of it. And I think weaving in that, alluding to that I was going to be the one to challenge Io, but you beat me to it, essentially.
I actually thought this quietly was Roxanne's best promo. I thought she sounded great here, and I think she's really comfortable now in this heel role. And I always be like, no, I mean, you're going to, once you eventually move her up, you'll move her up as a babyface because she's naturally so much better at that. But I think it's working. I think she seems kind of like Liv, how Liv evolved into this role. Like, I think she's very comfortable now as the heel. And I thought this was her best promo.
So Stephanie, they announced it during that match last night that it would be Stephanie versus Roxanne, which, like, okay, great. But Roxanne was in the pre-show and walked out and lost. And then all of a sudden gets a
that wasn't mentioned at all, was it? Like, we were assuming kind of, we're going to do the blow off of Cora and Roxanne, and was expecting it to kind of lead to the finish of this match tonight. But
so I think we do get a last PC play, like, the final goodbyes for a few people, and Roxanne is definitely one of them, possibly next week, like the wave goodbye from NXT. We go to our next match. Fallon Henley in the ring. They show her with Fatal Influence, but they only show her nameplate here. And Fallon is going up against a grown-ass woman. Thea Hale comes out. She's a grown-ass woman. She is taking on Fallon. They have some quick back and forth here where they're going for some quick near falls. Pretty cool looking armbar from Fallon Henley here. Kind of similar to the move that Thea Hale sometimes does. Eventually hits a cool pump handle throwaway suplex from Fallon for a near fall. When the referee is distracted, the outside interference from Fatal Influence. We have JC who tries to boot Thea, but accidentally nails Fallon in the face. And then Nyx gets thrown off the apron. And then it's Thea who transitions one of her moves into the Kimura. And we get a quick tap out from Fallon, meaning Thea Hale, wins the match in this was like 2 minutes long. Like the matches were really short on this show, I thought. And this one, 226 says my notes, which I was like, oh, wow. Okay. So Thea's back and wins this, but I'm wondering, are we gonna like do some shuffling around here with NXT, like some people that we might not see going forward? Like, I don't know.
Yeah, it was this point in the show where I was questioning, am I just wrestled out or is this pretty underwhelming? I expected a lot more from these two. Fallon, Henley, we sing our praises all the time, but Thea's no slouch either. Thea's really come a long way in the last couple of years. And I just thought, again, a bit of a nothing match, finish out of nowhere. And at this point, I was like, yeah, this show, I'm ready to tap out to a Kimura lock as well.
I'm pretty wrestled out, and there wasn't anything that exciting on here. And giving them 2 minutes, you can't work with that, really. No. I'm happy.
I did back, Thea's now got this pose where she taps both forearms and puts her fingers to her eyes and is like, "You coming for you."
Right.
So that was something, I guess.
Wow, that's the highlight of this match.
It was actually, yeah.
Thought the armbar was nice, but
fair.
Yeah. Oba Femi comes out, our NXT champion, the ruler. He is still our NXT champion after Stand and Deliver. He comes out in a nice shirt, of course. He has a microphone. He says that he went up against Trick and Javon on Saturday, and I smashed them. He says that I taught them a lesson, but during the build to this match, during the weeks leading up to it, I did some things and said some things I regret. To Javon Evans, the young OG, you're a lot better than I thought he was going to be. And the best years are ahead of you. And shouts out Javon Evans and says, you are a future star here in NXT. But as for Trick, no love for Williams. None for you, Glenn Coco. None for you, Trick Williams. Fuck you.
This was kind of the first, like, Oba, he's treated as the crowd as a baby face, but he's been very tweener the whole run. And like, even times we've been cheering, he's been acting the heel. This felt like the official, like, no, I am your pure babyface champion now. He's endorsing Javon, and he's kind of shitting on Trick for being a whiny so-and-so.
I thought that was pretty funny. He's like, yo, this guy was sick, got my respect. This guy's 20 years old. He's going to be sick. Trick, fuck you.
None for you, yeah.
He says, I can't stand him. And I don't have to worry about him anymore because as good or great as Trick is, the ruler is better. When Trick Williams music hits, he comes out. He's fired up here, wearing some nice shoes and these bell bottoms.
His high heels.
And all Kendrick Lamar's fault with the bell bottoms coming back, but very Rick James outfit here. And I'm pretty sure someone said nice boots Trick or nice pants Trick. And without missing a beat, he goes, yeah, your mama likes them or something like that.
Yeah.
So Trick is in the ring with Oba here and says he's pretty angry. He says, let's cut to the chase. You've been ducking me, Oba, and you didn't pin me on Saturday. You pinned Javon. And you've been stealing my thunder. You've been stealing everything. And you say you don't have respect for me. Well, I want to prove to you. I want to face you that I'm not your average Joe. Say his name, and he appears because out comes Joe Hendry. Wave your hands side to side. The TNA World Champion comes down to the ring. We have Trick, Joe Hendry, and Oba in the ring. And Hendry says, Trick, you've changed. You're not the same Trick that these people once loved. You're not as hungry anymore. You're just entitled. And Trick says, oh, yeah, well, don't worry, Joe, because I believe. We all saw. We believed, and I don't believe anymore. And these people don't believe because you're an outsider. You don't fit in here. And I saw you got your ass whooped on Sunday. Let's talk about it. So why don't you take that title and go back to TNA because the big dogs are talking. Joe says, yeah, you know what? I did lose, but I lost in front of 60,000 people while you were in the stands watching. Ooh, says the crowd. He then says, this is also the title that I'll be defending this Sunday at Rebellion. Shout out TNA.
Weird, because doesn't mention he's defending against Ethan Page, who is on this show.
Oh, weird.
He's defending Ethan Page and Kazarian. And I just thought,
weird.
Ethan Page is on this show. Joe Hendry's on this show. Maybe mention that. Weird.
He then says, I don't want to talk to you, Trick. I want to talk to you, Oba. And Oba's like, oh, so he kind of dismisses Trick here and says, I want to talk champion v champion. And Oba looks at him and says, don't make the same mistake that Moose did. And that's when Trick gets in the way and they have a bit of a shoving match and they start to kind of go at it here when they take out Trick. And then there's a bit of a pull apart. But will this lead to yet another Oba Femi Trick triple threat match? I think
Is this what they're doing? Are they just keep on putting Trick off from doing this thing? So, not the direction I'm really like. When is Money in the Bank? Is what, June? Like that Worlds Collide? Yeah. Like it's I'm not particularly excited about this. I'm personally a little over the Joe Hendry like crossover stuff. I get he's popular, but I feel it's a little played out now. I'm ready. I'm so happy that Trick is now just fully embracing being a heel. Now I think it's the right move. I'm more just get to that singles match, get it done, freshen this scene up a bit, maybe move Wesley up against Oba Femi.
Move Trick to main roster. I think we could be seeing
Trick to the main roster. Yeah. So, but yeah, I can't say I'm particularly inspired by this. If this is going to be a triple threat, which it looks like it's going to be.
Even if it's not, which I think it does. It's just funny because Trick's story is, hey, I just want a match against you. And I keep getting,
It is kind of Oba's gimmick though, isn't it? Like he's like, even in his North American run, he keeps on being put in triple threat matches that he wins. But yeah,
I have a good singles match. Is that what they're worried about?
I don't know. Like he had like his matches with Tony D were okay, weren't they? Yeah. Like it's I don't know. But yeah, I insertion of Joe Hendry here really didn't particularly excite me.
Yeah, I'm happy for the guy and it's awesome and everything, but I'm a little over it. Like I wasn't even particularly excited at WrestleMania. Again, I'm happy for the person because he got that moment. But therefore, you're saying he's defending the title. Shouldn't Randy Orton be defending the TNA title against Ethan Page? And did you say Kazarian?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, never changed, TNA. Yeah, never changed. All right. Well, we're clearly going to something with these three, whether it's at the Worlds Collide is June 7th. The next show is Battleground, so that could potentially be that match, which is May 25th. Battleground. So get ready. But hey, Davey, it's a Sunday pay-per-view, so
love it. Good stuff.
Let's be positive. All right. We go. All right, we're here for the thing you came here for. We're going to the desert. We're going to Sin City. We're going out in the sand as we see, The Rock might be filming a movie with Scorsese and Leo for next year, but we got a little bit of a real mafia movie on NXT. We see the desert, a hot car in there. Someone who I thought was MJF for a second, and it's actually Stax. I realized they kind of look alike. I don't know, just because they're both from like New York, New Jersey area. But yeah, we see a red car pull up. Luca Crusifino gets out of the car. We hear the music. We see the desert in the background. Luca's angry and says, "What are you doing, Stax? We need to make this right. We need to make this right." Stax shushes him, puts his finger to his lips. Shh. He says, "You know why I invited you out here." As the camera zooms in on Luca Crusifino's face as he comes to the realization, as it cuts to black. Yes, Luca Crusifino, you may be a lawyer for the mafia, kayfabe-wise, but have you never seen the movie Casino? Have you never seen Breaking Bad?
I was getting not mafia vibes, but Breaking Bad vibes.
Who was at Mania?
This felt like Albuquerque. So Heisenberg meeting with whoever.
I don't want to jump to conclusions, but Luca Crusifino sleeps in the sand. I think we may have seen the last of Luca Crusifino, Or is that what Stax wants us to think?
I actually quite like this. Sometimes we shit on like the production and the editing of some of these skits. Like I'm thinking just a week ago, the Dark State brawl with the family. I thought this looked great. I thought it was shot really nicely. I thought both guys in their suits looked good. I just want to correct you though. Channing Lorenzo, Stax from North Carolina. Okay. Don't know where he got that accent from. But yes, no, I kind of like this. And now the mystery is, did Stax kill Luca Crusifino?
It's like you're going to Vegas and we have these characters. It's like, yeah, it would make sense for them to do. Like, I watch a lot of 2020 Dateline. You know how many times there's a Vegas episode about someone getting buried in the sand and like in the desert? Like, yeah, I'm for it. I like this twist on the story and of what happened with Stax, but it makes you think what didn't we see? Because we've seen in the past in NXT, if they want to kill you off, they quite might actually do that. They might put you in a trunk or make you sleep with the fishes. Now, I don't think Luca might be sleeping with the fishes. I think it might be a ruse here. There's no fish in that desert, but you know what I mean. Yeah.
Yes, or a permanent move to evolve, perhaps.
Yes, apparently he's been on wrestling on there, so maybe a gimmick change is where he ends up. Yeah. We've had someone buried in the desert in wrestling before. I feel like that's not the first time. I feel like I'm crazy.
No, there was that whole Undertaker promo about being in a desert and a snake and a lizard and stuff like that. I think he killed Big Show or something. I don't know. Kane was involved probably. Yeah.
Sand. He's rough and coarse and gets everywhere. So more to come on the family and the stories. But don't worry, there'll be more videos on this episode. We see our favorite tag team, Zaruka. They're still fine. Zaruka is fine, even though Soul is the one to have won the North American title in that awesome ladder match. When we see Soul, she's being asked about the title and how she won it and how she also is the speed champion. And Liv and Raquel walk by to mock her and Zarya, like, oh, look at Soul has a title. Soul has two, which she didn't have the speed title, but then starts like getting Zarya's face saying, you don't have anything. And we better walk out before Soul wins a third title, before Zarya can even win another one. And that's when they said, yeah, well, maybe I will. Maybe I'll win a third title, which is kind of coming across as a challenge. And I do think we'll be getting this match possibly next week or something like that. And dare I say, yet again, here on NXT, give us the tag titles. Let's go. Yeah. This is the one to do it with. Surf's up. Come on. I don't know. I do think we're going to get this match. Does that?
They're setting up this match.
Does it lead to? Yeah, but does it lead to like the final turn that we didn't get at like the pay-per-view?
I hope so. Yeah, so, and then get it set up for Battleground.
Yeah, I do think that should be the match. But yeah, that will probably be announced in the next little while. I see Job Knobley in the chat saying Ric Flair was buried in the desert on WCW. Okay, so I'm not actually, I mean, I am, but I'm not that crazy. I don't remember why I know that, but I definitely do. We see Trick backstage and he's angry. And then my screen just kind of cut to green and gray and the feed cut. And then we hear
Ava, because he destroyed all the equipment.
Yeah, so Ava, you could hear, is like yelling at him, like, you bastard, get out of here, blah, blah, blah. So Trick is sent away because he's just destroying everything?
Yeah.
Thanks a lot, Trick. Wow, almost ruined my Netflix. I was pretty upset, but then the feed came back. We go to our next match. Javon Evans and Miles Bourne taking on Dark State. And in this match, let me make sure I get the names right. Dion Lennox and Osiris Griffin.
Yes.
All right, excellent. Javon gets rocked by an elbow early on here and then goes for a tope, but gets kind of caught by Griffin, who's a bit of a bigger guy, I think, catches him. But then Miles does a huge tope con hilo onto everyone here, setting up the tone. We go to picture-in-picture when we see that they continue to beat down on Evans. When we come back, they're throwing Javon around, and they're like power slamming him, countering his cross bodies. Eventually, though, Miles gets a hot tag in. He hits the snap Randy Orton power slams of his own, followed up by a drop kick. Was this an Ushi Goroshi from the young?
I think so.
young Miles Bourne. I knew I liked this guy. The Ushigoroshi, the bull killer, for a 2 count. Eventually, though, Javon is on the outside and gets thrown into the apron, which leaves Bourne alone. And they do this. Was this a different double team combo?
But it was essentially their like toss up into the power bomb, but the 2-man version, because you don't have 2 people to throw to the other one. It didn't look quite as impressive, but did the job.
So they pin Miles and win the match here in just under 10 minutes. But they had some cool stuff, and I think this was a weird pairing of just putting Miles and Javon together. But at the same time, I think the crowd it helped Miles get over, and maybe one of the more like organic ways where it's just like all of a sudden people were like, oh, wait, no, this guy's pretty good.
Yeah, I think it was more of an indication that people are really getting into Miles Bourne. So it was giving him a bit of a spotlight as a singles guy paired with another singles guy rather than just him in the tag team with NQCC. So I didn't mind the move. I think Dark State have been looking pretty good in ring. I'm still not a lover of the whole gimmick and presentation, but I think when it's actually come to like bell to bell, I think they've been pretty solid.
Yeah. No, I like still not enough to get out of this. Like this didn't do too much for me, but out of this, I was like, man, I know I love Miles Bourne, and we've been enjoying him, especially him and Tavion as the team in the last year or so. So we'd like to see some more of him here, but still not quite sold on the Dark State guys. The character is still a little copy paste Temu Shield for me. We go backstage. Sean Spears, he's talking and he's like, I'm just looking out for my friends, as he talks to Ava, but then walks off. So I'm wondering if he's getting someone a title shot. The Cullen family, whether it's Izzy, whether it's the tag guys, we'll see. Brooks, Nico. But Ava in her office is welcomed to Inamura, who comes in here and he says, my time here in NXT is coming to an end, sadly. Soon I will have to go back to Japan, back to Noah. And I'm sad. I'm going to miss this place. And Ava's like, oh, and he's like, I've learned a lot. I'm really upset, though. He says he's sad because he really wanted to help Briggs get that tag title opportunity, and he let him down, and kind of starts to get emotional. And Ava says, you know what? Well, before we send you back to Noah, next week, you and Briggs, you get a title shot. How about that? And he goes, oh, thank you. And then Ava walks off. Briggs walks in like, how the hell did you do that? And from sad to a mischievous looking grin from Inamura, who then says, old Japanese secret.
He was very much hamming it up, like how sad he was. I think there were tears rolling down his face. He was just so sad he didn't get that tag title for Briggs. So what? Inamura and Briggs versus Hank and Tank next week.
Fuck it, give him the strap. Let's go. Give him the belt. Take it to Noah.
Marufuji coming out to help him. Yeah.
Why not? I would like to see that. I thought this was funny. I think we'll get a pretty good match out of it next week. I don't suspect him to win, but I kind of would want them. Will this eventually lead to him giving the vest back? We get this beatdown that we kept joking about. I think it might need to happen. Him going back to Noah, we've been following. We love a wrestler up here in Canada. What is it? The Stallion kid, Bryce.
Yes.
He's wrestling in Noah right now. I've been following on his social media, so maybe there's a chance they could tangle up. Inamura, young Stallion. So next week, I think Hank and Tank versus Briggs and Inamura. We go to the second half of our family days of our lives. Beyond the Gates. Someone understands that reference. We go to the hotel. We see someone walking down a hotel hallway, knocks on a door. The door opens, but she's got the chain on, like in movies when they don't, they got the chain. Who is it? And it's Rizzo answering the door. We hear the sad piano music. And it's me. Let me in. So Rizzo lets Tony D in. They talk in the hotel room here. And they say, what's going on? What happened? I want to know what happened. Why is this going on? I told Stax I'd be loyal, says Rizzo. And Tony says, yeah, well, people change. And Rizzo says, yeah, but what if we had a sit down? We can fix these things. And he goes, no, I don't want to sit down. I don't want to fix these things. Tony says, There's two things in life I can't stand. That's rats and betrayal. Kind of the same thing, but he says, "What are you doing?" And she's like, I'm packing. I got to go home. I got to get out of here. I don't know why I'm doing the accent now. But Tony then says, "No, you can't go home. It's not safe. Don't go home. Go somewhere else because, what's going on with Stacks." So, wow.
So is this Rizzo going into hiding in Evolve as well?
Rizzo's getting the hell out of here.
Realistically, like Rizzo's been a great character, but we rarely see her wrestle. So maybe if she's going to be doing a bit of developing in ring in Evolve, it would make a whole lot of sense. But it kind of seemed like her write off for a little bit as well. But we do have Tony and Stacks face to face next week as well.
So yes, it does. It sounds like Tony's like, no, I don't want to talk to him. But then it is announced that there is a
confrontation,
confrontation between them. Yeah, it's either we're gonna see the family disintegrate here with Rizzo and Luca disappearing, or maybe it's all a big ruse and they're actually all gonna turn on Tony. Like maybe Stacks.
It would be a good way to move him up, right? If the whole family turn on Tony and we keep the three.
Like that, the question we've been asking ever since this guy debuted is like, will this work on the main roster? Will these videos that we just watched and just talked about, these mafia in the desert, like I think it would get over in a weird way on the main roster. So I think they should dip their toes in it with Tony D'Angelo.
Yeah.
Like put the mafia on the main roster. I think it would get over.
Yes,
in my opinion. We go to Ricky Starks backstage. He says that he's thrilled about Noam Dar coming back from injury because I know what it's like to do that and be forgotten. He's got to get his shots in, of course.
Yeah.
Mentions that he was also like that, and then says, "But I am a man of my word, so I will give Lexis King a shot at my North American title. It's only going to be for the North American title." That's when Ethan Page walks in to confront Ricky and says a few choice words when King attacks Ricky and leaves him on the ground, and Ethan Page laughs and mocks him here. So it sounds like Page and Ricky aren't quite done yet, but next week King is going for that title.
Yeah, I kind of hope it's a one and done thing. You've done a little thing to set it up and get some heat for next week, but I'd love to see Ricky in something a little bit more interesting than Lexis King.
Yeah, I think we're going to continue this Page. We're going to have to do one more match. Gimmick, like we've seen Paige and Javon in that street fight type thing. I think we might see the same thing with these two. He said he continues to be a thorn in his side, so that means rematch. We get an ad for Battleground Sunday, May 25th. We kind of said, is it that Joe? That's about a month away. It's kind of a little bit out, but I guess in the next few weeks we'll kind of see what that kind of takes shape. But Femi, Joe Hendry, Trick. I kind of hope it's not that. I hope that's not the main thing that we're going towards, but we'll see. We get another video. We're in another hotel room here. This is a popular hotel room over this Vegas weekend, and we see someone opening up a briefcase. We see someone pulling out a red sweater. We see it is Andre Chase pulling out his Chase University sweater as it pans up with him and his disheveled hair and his beard and his untucked white shirt as he says, "We're fucking back, baby." Yes, Chase U is back.
Okay, I'm very happy. I love Chase U. I'm happy. I'm happy these kids can get educated again in NXT. But is this all it took? He just had to find a sweater. Like I thought Ridge ended this. Like
deal's a deal.
Like couldn't we have had just some bullshit kayfabe reason how Uriah Connors and Kale Dixon have like acquired Chase U off of Ridge
the
Holland
license
or something? Not just, buddy, you can just put your sweater on and it's back. Like we could have done this a long time ago, and we might still have a Duke running around.
Like, I'm not mad that they're coming back because like it was a dumb idea to break it up in the first place. But like, if we bring it back, you got to have a reason that we got it back. Like he needs to beat Ridge or something. Like
Yeah.
I'm not asking for a Ridge match, please. I wouldn't do that.
No,
like,
but then there needs to be like even some throwaway line, like
the license was free again or available again.
Yeah, Ridge didn't like let it lapse or something. Just some sort of line that you've got Kale and Uriah who could have just, even a note like, here's the contract for Chase U. Your former students have, GoFunded me and bought it off of Ridge. I don't know, something.
Or like they just like trademark Chase U so that like they own like I need. This sounds ridiculous because we're two grown men being like, yeah, we need reason why the fake university professor is back. But like,
but
at
if
the
it's
same
as
time,
easy as just getting a sweater, like, come on.
Yeah. So like the rule was you have to disband and the university is no more, right? So like, what was the ruling on this?
So Job Nobley in the chat is saying, according to Chase, the university wasn't on the line, just the faction known as Chase U.
But I thought the stipulation was like the fuck, I don't know. It's stupid to begin with, but
I've spent too much of my life thinking about Chase U.
Well, we're back. So Chase U is back. Let's see where we go with this. Talking about gimmicks that will work on the main roster. Will Chase U 2.0 work on the main roster? Yeah. We got rid of Duke, so I'm going to say no. But anyways,
we'll see.
Yeah. Next week announced Ricky Starks versus Lexis King, North American title match. The tag team title match, Briggs and Inamura versus Hank and Tank, plus Stax and Tony face to face, and some other things I'm sure that will be announced this week. But we go to our main event, the NXT Women's Champion Stephanie Vaquer defending her title against Roxanne Perez here in Vegas. And we start things off here. Both women are very technical and very fast. They're countering each other's moves, doing tons of drop downs. Stephanie goes for the Devil's Kiss, everyone's favorite move this weekend, especially, but it is blocked early on. Roxanne then drops her in the corner and starts to work on her. I think she dropped her on her arm here. And as they go to picture-in-picture, I actually got to see, Roxanne continues to work the arm of Vaquer and starts to wrangle on it, knees it, and keeps banging down on this knee. Eventually, though, when we come back, Stephanie strikes back and hits a springboard crossbody to the outside onto the ramp here. Eventually gets Roxanne in the corner and hits a Meteora and then goes for the Devil's Kiss as the crowd here in Vegas go wild. The camera cuts to Booker T pretty much having an aneurysm. And then it cuts to Roxanne getting out of the SVB and then does this crazy like running head scissors into a crossface, which was just beautiful. Eventually, though, Vaquer slips out of this and counters the Pop Rocks and hits the SVB in the corner this time, out of the corner, and gets the 1, 2, 3 on Roxanne Perez.
Not bad. I was kind of expecting a little more from this, and maybe that is partly down to me being a little wrestled out after this weekend. But these two, I think, have a better match in them than this. I thought there was a little bit of kind of towards the end of the match, just a little bit of clunkiness, but it was good. It was still the best match on the show, but I felt a little disappointed. But maybe I've watched too much wrestling this weekend.
Well, also like the match only went like 10 minutes. So like the match started when the show had 10 minutes left, and they went up like right to the end of the show where it's like the finish, and then Stephanie stares out. We see Jordan Grace, I think, in the crowd, Julia as well. So kind of being like, hey, we're not done with you either. But yeah, I'm not saying like we were robbed, but it was like the TV version of a match that I think we know would be a whole lot better than what we got here. But I don't think this is the last time we see Roxanne, because I think it would be fair for her to have her moment in the PC and that crowd. I think that's kind of the norm, but this was pretty much like we've killed the old guard of NXT, and here's Stephanie standing tall, like pretty light work. It was a fine match, but I wouldn't compare it to like the match from Monday or the match from Saturday.
Yeah.
But still, not my favorite episode of NXT. I didn't think a whole lot of it, but going forward, we are going to get a reset because we're going to have people moving up. We're going to have some releases probably. Who knows? Like there's always a shakeup after WrestleMania, and we have Chase coming back. We have some titles, new people coming in. Who knows?
I felt a little bit on this show. I'm always an advocate of them getting out of the PC, but I think after this weekend, it should have been back in the PC. It reminded me of that. I think it was WrestleMania Orlando weekend where SmackDown was still on a Tuesday, and basically the last thing of the whole weekend was 205 Live, and it was just people going, "Oh, I'm trying to get through this," and it just there felt like a lack of energy. Like I certainly have a lack of energy going into this show, and I think a fresh crowd with your Florida crowd, you're back there. I think would have just lifted this show a little bit. It just felt tired. Like everyone felt tired. Like even Vaquer's Devil's Kiss felt tired, and Booker even pointed it out. It kind of felt slower than normal. But then Vaquer's been wrestling all weekend, and who knows what else. So I just felt it was a little underwhelming. It's NXT had a great show on Saturday. One of the arguably the best show of the weekend. Like top to bottom, it was very solid. And I still, if you haven't checked it out, especially the two main events, go back because it was great. But I felt the fatigue on this one for sure.
It felt like even the crowd here were just like, yeah, fuck. Why did I stay on to Tuesday?
Yeah.
It's like anyone's last day in Vegas, you've been there, you're like, did I need 5 days? No, I didn't. Essentially, I think everyone learned that. But yeah, at least we know we got some direction. We got Battleground. We got the stuff with AAA, Worlds Collide. We'll see where we lead in the next few months. I'm just like, okay, it's done. WrestleMania week is over. And this was, it's weird to have this be the final thing. Like
there wasn't really even any kind of like, I guess Noam Dar returning, but all the other stories are just like, it feels almost like a backlash. It looks like we're going back to Stephanie, Julia, and Jordan Grace. It looks like we're going back to Trick and Oba, potentially Ethan Page and Ricky again. Like it didn't feel like any sort of, whereas Raw, it's like setting up fresh things moving forward. I didn't necessarily get that case. And it did seem like a bit of a hangover show like we used to get back in the day.
Absolutely. Definitely a hangover episode. We'll see what happens with Joe Hendry. We'll see what happens with AAA. We'll see if Triple H or Shawn Michaels buys Noah. Find out next Tuesday on NXT. We will be here next Tuesday at 10:05 p.m. See, the fatigue is hitting me now. It's time to go to bed. We have watched a lot of wrestling. Appreciate everyone out there. That was our NXT and Mania Night 2 review. Again, no Poisonrana live this Sunday. We are taking a break, but I do believe What Up Doe, John Cena, and B Detroit will be dropping a new episode with all their thoughts on WrestleMania 2 nights and Stand and Deliver and all the other wrestling. Casino did a whole lot of work for this website, postwrestling.com, and I'm sure he's got a lot of fun stuff to talk about. And that'll be out sometime this weekend on the Poisonrana free feed. And check us out, our Patreon. We have tons of shows. Like I said, $5 to become a friend. You get a month's access of all these other podcasts that we've done. So in case you miss us this week, we'll be there from all the other shows that we've done in that back catalog. So happy WrestleMania week. It's over. Until next year, we'll see you. We'll be back next Tuesday, 10:05 p.m. Poisonrana.ca for links of everything that we do. I think we are almost at 600 followers on our new Instagram account. So, guys, get us to 1,000. Come on. Get us to 1,000 at Poisonrana Pod. Go give us a follow and follow along. We did it. All right. We did it. All right. Just like The Rock says, we're going to adjust and get out of here. Take care. Goodbye. Be safe. Elbows up. And peace out.
Ahoy!